Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Shutterfly. If you're like us, you take a lot of pictures because you have a camera right in your hand all the time. How would you not take a lot of pictures? And we're taking all these pictures, more than we've ever taken in the history of the world.
What are you going to do with them all?
That's the thing. You used to get a solid picture, and then you'd look through them, and you could enjoy them. Now they're like back on your camera roll. You can't even find them. You don't want that. That's why the cool thing you need to do, and what I did, and I think it's pretty cool, is create a Shutterfly photo book.
Oh.
What I did, and you're going to enjoy this, Jimmy, because I haven't showed this to you yet, but took all of our pictures from being on tour this year.
Oh.
All live show pictures, us backstage, us on stage, doing all that stuff, and like some of the, just the venues and things, and made a little photo book out of that. Also, they have free 24-hour designer service as well. With their 24-hour designer service, a professional designer is going to lay out the book for you for free in just a day. Make something that means something with Shutterfly. Enjoy 40% off orders over $29 with promo code SMALLTOWN. See site for promotional details.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
Did you know that parents rank financial literacy as the #1 most difficult life skill to teach? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app for families. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Kids learn to earn, save, and spend wisely. And parents can rest easy knowing their kids are learning about money with guardrails in place. Try Greenlight risk-free today at greenlight.com/Wondery.
This week in Forest City, Iowa, when an aspiring school teacher is found brutally killed in her rural farmhouse bed, police suspect the husband until they find him dead too. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Yay, indeed, Jimmy. Yay, indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmy Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us again on another crazy, wild, twisty adventure we like to call Small Town Murder. We are going to have a good time today. Hope you enjoyed last week in New Jersey, outside of Philly there. That was a disaster and a mess, and we have one just as messy today. This one is, don't turn this one off at any point. This is one of those where it's like you got to hear right to the end because it's going to be strong to the end. Put it that way. It's the closing act is a big one here.
The Pittman Potterfest got a lot of attention. Boy, oh boy, they are pissed that it's not sticking around.
Damn Warner Brothers and their copyright.
I don't blame you guys. I'd be pissed too.
Copyright enforcement. Jesus. Well, I want to thank everybody, first of all, for your reviews this week. Apple Podcasts, the purple icon there. Those reviews help. We don't know why, but they do. For some reason, when you get reviews and people listen to your show, you go up the charts farther, and that makes you have more listeners, and that helps a lot on the business end. So if you want to help out the show, it's a really good way to do it. Go to Apple Podcasts, that purple icon. Give us 5 stars. It doesn't matter what you say.
No.
It doesn't. Just say these people are forcing me to do this, or I'm following instructions. It doesn't matter. whatever you want to say works, but it really helps out a lot. Also, go to shutupandgivememurder.com.
Please do.
All sorts of new merchandise up right now.
Great.
There's all sorts of cool new designs. Also, the site, they have new things now. These bags are on there,
cool.
and shoes. We have all sorts of new stuff.
Good Lord.
Sarah's been working hard putting things on items. So check that out right away. No tickets for sale for Small Town Murder right now. The rest of this year is sold out. Right. Zanies in April sold out. We're going to announce a full slate of 2020 shows very, very soon, but not yet. There is April 8th Crime and Sports at Zanies in Nashville. There's tickets available for that. Very few, so get them right this minute. Right. They're about to sell out, so that is good there.
See you in Houston tonight.
Definitely. We will see you in Houston and then in Dallas on Saturday. We're very excited for that. Both those shows are sold out, so you don't really have to plug them, but we're excited to see you guys down there.
We're going to drive.
We're going to drive through Texas, and then we're going to find a steak the size of our heads, and we're going to eat it when we get to Dallas. That's how we're going to do this. So if anybody has any suggestions for novelty steaks in Dallas.
If you know Jerry Jones and he's got a spare one hanging in some sort of drying.
I'm sure.
He's probably got an aging room.
An old 96er style just dangling from a metal hook. Yeah, we'll take that one.
If there's two of those, we'll be over, Jerry.
That's it. That's what we got right there. So direct us. Point us in the right direction. Please do that. If you want to be a hero to the show, one of our producers who we're going to gush and glow about at the end of the show with a long list of our amazing credits here, you can join that list very easily by going to patreon.com/crimeandsports or head over to PayPal and use our email address, crimeandsports@gmail.com. And we cannot tell you how appreciated every damn cent is that you guys send us. Thank you guys so much for everything. And we're trying to put these bonus episodes out. We put them out every other week. So for the $5 and above level on Patreon, and they're usually a trip. We find really, really crazy smaller cases.
They're certainly a good time.
They're a good time. So check that out. But we got to do the disclaimer quickly for anybody who might be new to us and joining us. We've had some new listeners, and so we got to talk to them.
Yeah.
This is a comedy show. It's a comedy podcast. All the facts are real. They are. They're all real. Everything. Nothing's made up for comedic effect or anything like that. But it's all real and everything. What we try not to do, though, we try not to make fun of the victims or the victims' families.
But why do we do that?
Because we're assholes.
What?
But we're not scumbags.
Now you get it.
That's what I'm talking about right there. So we think that's good. We're going to make fun of small towns. We'll make fun of a police force that messes up and lets a murderer go free or something like that. We'll make fun of a murderer.
They deserve it.
They deserve it. And what else are we going to do about it? We have this show. That's all we can do. I don't have a badge or a gavel. Well, actually, I have a gavel because people sent them to us, but it's not official. That's not official. Nobody listens to that.
No.
Nobody will haul anyone away if I do that. So,
nor will they halt an execution of somebody that doesn't deserve it.
Exactly. Right. So with that said, we're going to have a good time. But if you think true crime and comedy should never go together, they just don't ever mix, then this show might not be for you.
You should certainly walk away.
You should walk away. If you think those things, if it's like a thing that you have where they should never cross, we're not for you.
No.
It's a bad blind date.
It's okay.
We tried. Yeah. Everybody goes their separate ways.
Fine.
But for the rest of you, you want to have a good time and are going to have a good time. Because if you're here, you're going to have a good time. I think it's time. I think it's time to do it. I think it's time to shout, shut up and give me murder. Let's do it, Jimmy.
All right.
Let's go on a trip,
shall
we? Let's get out of New Jersey.
Okay.
Nobody wants to be there.
No.
Not even anyone in New Jersey. Trust me. It's not great there. So we're going to flee to the middle of the country now. Yeah. We're going to head back to the Midwest. We're going to Iowa.
Oh,
boy.
I almost guessed that.
Corn country.
I genuinely almost said Iowa.
Well, when you think middle, you think Iowa. It's Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas.
I just realized you probably put that seed in my head
when I did the
earlier.
Intro. Yeah, when I told you where we were. By recording an intro in your presence.
Damn it, I'm stupid.
Yeah, that
is amazing.
That might be where
I was like, how the hell would I even get? Oh yeah.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that might be where you picked it up. I'm not an investigator or a detective or anything.
Fucking incredible.
Chances are, I'm going to say here. Well, we're going to Forest City, Iowa.
Okay.
You don't think of forest, you think of corn. But Forest City, Iowa, it's in the north central part of the state. And I mean dead center, very top county, on the Minnesota border there. No panhandling. panhandles in the middle. There's a little panhandle on the outside of Iowa, but in the middle, it is just neat rows of square counties. They line up perfectly. They're like rows of corn.
Really?
It's insane. Look at the Iowa.
Where they did the county?
They're like
gridded it.
do them like the corn. They're lined up so straight in these lines. It's
Are they
so
all
weird.
small too?
Yeah, they're all these little tiny. They're all the same size.
Yeah.
And they're all these identically sized, like a really good chef, julienne onions. Like that's what it's like. They're like these perfectly diced, exactly the same size counties.
Isn't Ohio very similar to that too?
The Midwest, they just did that. They lost their creativity. They're like, oh, well, listen, we'll just lop it up like this, and they didn't care. In the West, they started doing that with all the states too. Fuck it, square the states off too. Rivers, who gives a shit? Just right on the borders.
And our counties, they got super lazy because they were
90 degrees.
But our counties, there's only like 13 in this whole fucking state.
Oh, in Arizona,
and this state's enormous.
It's a huge state.
Holy shit!
There's nothing in it though.
Right.
There's people in Phoenix and a couple in Tucson and like 5 in Flagstaff and then a shitload of desert.
I think New Mexico's just one county.
That's
New
too
Mexico
much.
County.
They should have to share something from Eastern Arizona. They don't even deserve that. So this place here, it's 2 hours and 5 minutes to Des Moines, 2 hours and 10 minutes up north to Minneapolis. Yeah. So it's the equal distance to Des Moines and Minneapolis, for whatever that's worth. Not much, probably. It's about 4 hours and 15 minutes to Bonaparte, Iowa, which is episode 103, our last Iowa episode.
That was a minute ago.
Yeah, that's all the way down in the bottom corner of the state down there, almost a year ago. This is in both Hancock and Winnebago counties.
Winnebago.
And that's where it's from. That's why it's called Winnebago.
Really?
That's where they make them.
They make them in that county.
And two of our participants in this story work for Winnebago. And one did and one does currently while the story's going on. Winnebago's play a factor in this.
Do they live in one too?
Unfortunately, no, they do not.
They live in another brand.
They live, it's an Airstream, Jimmy. Come on. Jesus, you can't. A Winnebago's expensive.
They are.
You know, you just got to get a tin box. Winnebago's actually need to drive. Those things are pricey. Like $150,000 for this
diesels
things.
in them, for Christ's sake.
Oh, they're so expensive. Yeah. No, my friend Rod, the baseball player, Rod Beck.
That's what his was?
He had he had one of those giant ones that like the sides come out.
The pop outs.
It was crazy. The thing was like $200,000 though. I was like, holy shit.
But it's like 1,900 square feet.
Oh, it was insane in there. Dude, it was insane.
Like, how does this is even possible?
It was like a swanky hotel suite in there. That's what it felt like. You're like, he had a king size bed,
marble
like,
floors and shit.
Awesome. Kitchen with he's blending drinks up while we're driving. I'm like,
60-inch TV.
He's literally like, will you drive? I'm gonna make a daiquiri. He's back there blending up shit. I'm driving this.
You're like, I don't have a CDL, bro. This thing's too big for me.
Dude, I drove that thing to Nevada in the pitch black at 2 a.m. Not the whole way, but for a while.
And he's blending strawberry.
Had no idea. I was just driving, going, I don't know if I'm going off the road. I didn't even know if I was on the road half the time. The thing is enormous. It takes up 3 lanes. Yeah, you're definitely going to hit oncoming traffic. It's a nightmare. The thing's a goddamn nightmare.
Best of luck in a U-turn environment.
Oh my God,
they are crazy big.
Yeah, they are. But he could whip this thing around in Vegas in traffic. I'm like, what is going on?
Doesn't it make you wonder, like, how does a guy that drives like a little minivan to work and then he has one of those? How the fuck do you manage that?
That's what I mean.
How do you do that, dude? In your fucking Tommy Bahama.
People who can
just handle it?
People who can manipulate large vehicles. Hats off to you. I've said this a million to 18-wheeler drivers. Yeah. You watch an 18-wheeler guy pull up to a loading dock, a magic trick.
One time.
Brain surgery looks way easier than that. You take a brain surgeon and put him behind the wheel, he'll never get it backed up to that dock, ever. I'm not saying the trucker could do brain surgery, but, it's not going to work the other way.
I've backed a trucker out of like a parking, like a dirt lot.
Yeah.
He's like, could you just guide me back? I'm like, cool. So I'm back in the road, like stopping traffic so he can get out. And I'm like, this guy's going to hit the fucking fence. And I'm like, waving my hand away from the fence. And he just kept going by fucking 3-4 inches.
They know.
Unbelievable.
They know.
Put it right into traffic and then sped off.
Well, that's what
Didn't
they do.
even say
they
thanks.
Know what they're doing. No. Just run like a thief in the night. On to the next prostitute at the next truck stop.
I got hookers to cut up.
So, zip code 50436, area code 641, 4.5 square miles. So it's a small town. Yeah. And the motto here, where nature's close and friends are closer.
Yeah.
That is my nightmare. Right there. Keep nature away from me, and my friends can even stay on the other side of the street for
You
a while.
only need a friend.
That sounds terrible. Let's just say that. Nature and friends. It sounds like a camping trip that never ends.
Right.
I'm not interested. No, thank you. A hobo.
It's summer camp. Come on down.
A hobo fantasy camp. That's what I always camping is. It's the most ridiculous thing ever. Stupidest thing I can ever think of. I have a home, but I'm not going to stay there. I'm going to sleep outside with the animals. Because it's fun.
Watching.
No. First thing people did when they got anywhere, build shelter. Why? Fucking dangerous out there. Nature sucks. That's why. Super sucks. Awful. Weather, animals, very unpredictable, all of it.
That comedian Car's getting coffee with Eddie Murphy and Seinfeld when he goes.
Yeah.
You know who's probably pissed off about campers? The homeless. Oh, you're just out here now.
Yeah. Oh, you're just out here. That's exactly what it is.
I've been doing this.
That's what I mean. Yeah. It's fucking ridiculous. I had the whole joke about the hobo fantasy camp. Eddie Murphy ruined it for me, but that's fine. I haven't used it in 5 years anyway. I haven't used that joke in forever, but it doesn't matter.
And now, no, way worse, because now Jerry Seinfeld's like, can I have that? And he's like, yeah, it's yours.
Sure.
So now
Great, never mind.
Now Jerry's going to tour that, James.
That's good. Oh, yeah, he's going to tear it up all over the place. For 10 years, he's going to have it. Now, Forest City, they first found it in about 1855. They platted it out in 1856. Wasn't the first name that they gave to it. In the beginning, it was known as Puckerbrush, which sounds
even more scary.
Like a hairy butthole.
That sounds like the place. Yeah,
you got too much Puckerbrush in there. You want to trim that up a bit. You know what I mean? You want to give that a trim, probably. You're going to get dingleberries.
There's a waxing place called Clearing Puckerbrush.
Yeah. Y'all got dingleberries up in your Puckerbrush, don't you? It ain't good. So that's what they called it.
Oh, that's gross.
Jesus. Robert Clark. Jesus Christ. That's so gross. That's so gross.
That's one of the grossest things we've ever said.
Probably. Yeah, it probably is. I'm not going to lie. That's probably the most disgusting.
Ladies, the next time you go get a Brazilian, dare you.
Ask him to clear your Puckerbrush. Y'all clear my Puckerbrush for me? If you say that and then tell us on social media you did that,
if
I will be the happiest guy ever.
Snapchat me that.
Y'all won't clear the Puckerbrush out back? That's how they refer to it, clearing the Puckerbrush out back.
I dare you.
Oh,
and I want the video. That is amazing.
That's too much. It's too much. Good Christ. So, yeah.
A woman's going to hear her say that right to her face. That's going to be amazing.
Some very surprised Asian woman's going to have no idea what she's talking about.
Even if you're going to get your eyebrows, ask him, have you cleared any Puckerbrush today?
So y'all clear Puckerbrush too, or just eyebrows? Which one is it?
Go get your eyebrows threaded in the mall and ask them.
See if they'll do it. One of those, find one of those kiosks that do it. You do it right here, you got a Puckerbrush room. Take y'all in the back.
Oh, God, it hurts.
Just clear it out. So, the official founder of the city is Robert Clark.
Okay.
Old Bobby Clark.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. He said, we're not calling this place Puckerbrush. No. That's disgusting. That is gross. Everyone's going to think it's fucking asshole hair. We can't have that. We're not doing it.
Or it's the utensil used to straighten it.
Either way, it's a pucker brusher. That's what you go bush hogging with out in your butthole. You know what I mean? Clearing the brush out.
Oh, my God.
These are all terms I've learned on this show. I had no idea what that was before. So, but Stevie in that documentary was talking about hurting himself going bush hogging. Now, they called it Forest City because it's cut out of a forest.
Okay.
It's a forest. They carved out a section and said, it's a town now.
Right.
Yes.
So they cleared out the Puckerbrush and put a city.
Put a damn city
right there in the pucker.
That's right. Right in the pucker, right in the brush. He laid out the plat of the town. He built the first log cabin. It stood until 1870, and then they tore it down. Another guy built a cabin in 1856, and he brought his family in. A guy named A.T. Cole was the first family there.
Oh,
so I don't know, kids and a wife there. He brings in. So now there's that's different. Not just two dudes standing there jerking each other off or whatever they're doing for a year in this town by themselves,
staring at each other's Puckerbrush.
It's weird, yeah. Want me to trim your butt? I'll trim yours if you trim mine. Mine's getting out of control. I ain't gonna lie.
If you're not going to trim it, at least brush it.
You brush it for me, straighten it out. So they used the next thing they built was they used logs to build a store. They built a store in 1856, and it was a store there.
Yeah.
Then they built a hotel, and that hotel had a corner lot in town. And for this corner lot to build a hotel, a man paid $5.
Yes, he did.
For a corner lot in town, big enough for a hotel.
Unbelievable.
$5.
$5.
It's worth slightly more now.
A little
bit. It's Iowa, but not too much.
Probably $7 by now.
Yeah, it's $7-8 by now at least. So then they built an 18 by 24 structure. Robert Clark did, and he used it as a hotel as well.
Okay.
I don't know how many people you're storing in there, but 18 by 24 hotel.
That's a small one.
It's a
couple of rooms.
It's a boutique.
Yeah.
It's a very small boutique bed and breakfast type place.
Couple of rooms.
Just very small ones. So now the Civil War interrupted the growth here because people were kind of going to the war rather than out to go to Iowa to move there. But it was attractive to immigrants, this land. In 1879, a rail line came between St. Louis and Minneapolis, and it went through here.
Yeah.
That was a huge deal. People came from everywhere. Now people started to come here because they could get here easily. People, Swedish, Norway, the German people, people from Denmark, that sort of very sturdy white people built for farming.
Absolutely.
And pumping children out of, sturdy, hipped white people, basically, is what we have here coming to town. It was incorporated in 1878. The first train arrived in 1879 at 3:30 p.m. And they were all the residents in the whole town came out to welcome it, and hey, there's the train. Everyone on the train was
important. They documented the time.
Oh yeah, at 3:30 p.m. All the residents came to. You could see. Imagine the people on the train just passing through from saying like, these fucking hillbillies. Jeez, never seen a train before. Relax. Good Christ, these people don't even trim their Puckerbrush. This place is terrible. I'm leaving. So,
a lot of sturdy Puckerbrush around here.
That's all it is. Just all Puckerbrush everywhere. So, but the rail service was great for this place because it meant they could take supplies and mail now by train, and everything goes quicker, easier. You can do business more swiftly. If you can send your products out instead of riding a horse dragging your shit somewhere. You could just get in a train car, put your stuff on there, and you have it. Farmers could ship their products right from the farm. It was very good. They had 2 passenger trains and 2 freight trains that departed daily from their train depots. So they started to be a town. They put telegraph poles in, do that shit there. Christmas Day, 1879, the first telegraph message went out from the town. So they came of age, kind of like everywhere else. And it was a very small town, though. It's very Norman Rockwell-y, I guess you could say here. They had they put a lot of schools and banks in. They had a hotel that then turned into a college that we'll talk about, which is very strange.
It's a small college.
18 by 24. No, can't be that small. So they had the formation of the Farmers Cooperative in 1916. Helped really kind of do all the farming. I don't know what they did, but it helped. I don't know if they all got together to talk about different ways to farming. And
everybody together. It's like a union almost.
It was advantageous. And in 2007, they grew the largest average county corn yield per acre in any county in Iowa. Here. So
the most
put
corn
that in your
per
pipe.
acre.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Corn cob pipe and smoke
it. Corn cob pipe and light it up. Jesus Christ, man. So I don't know why that's important, but they had Forest City Community Schools. They built a wind turbine to their facilities in 1998, and they had power. That's how they're powering their classroom. That was an interesting thing there. It was a physics project for the high school class. Yeah, they built a turbine that powers the school.
It seems like it would take a lot of fucking wind to do that.
Not really.
No,
You'd
I guess all you gotta do is keep lights on, right?
Yeah, and the fact that once you get, they're big. So once the wind starts them, they kind of have momentum too, which helps. And it's
when you go through from here to LA and you see them moving, they look like they're moving really slow. But if you watch one blade, those fucking things are moving.
Well, if you got in front of it, it would kill you. Put it that way.
It'll lop your head off.
It's nothing like that.
Yeah.
Oh, it will.
Yeah.
I found a review of the town here. Here's the review, resident review. Quote, there are the area is pretty and the locals are friendly enough. The problem is that the town is controlled by, I love this.
Oh, boy.
I love when it's a personal beef where you can tell one thing happened to a person and they're going to review. The town's okay except for this big underlying thing that only happened to me because I'm crazy. I love that so much.
That everybody knows about but won't say a word.
The kids here are super mean, shit like that. Like, areas are friendly, blah, blah, blah. Locals are friendly enough. The problem is that the town is controlled by the local factories along with the local college.
Okay.
The student athletes have no regard for the community and it creates friction. This guy was in a McDonald's one time, and there was a group of football players from the local college there, and they were loud and cut him in line, and he just writes this review at one point. They have
no regard.
It creates friction because I'm upset. No one else mentions it, but it bothers me. Therefore, friction.
Also,
2 stars.
What do you expect out of student athletes? They're dicks.
That's the thing.
That's what they do.
It's 2 stars, I guess. 2 stars for friendly locals here. And what college is it? I looked it up. Waldorf College.
Oh, for Christ's
What the fuck
sake.
do these athletes think they are if they are being dicks? I've never heard of where you play. So I don't know who you think you are, but you're going to be selling used cars next year when you're done with this shit.
Your captain will.
Yeah,
the rest of you, you're going to go back working at that McDonald's where you were cutting in line.
If you were at Ohio State, maybe you could hook on with some alumni or whatever. No one cares about you at Waldorf.
Fuck about Waldorf.
Sorry.
It's not the Astoria. Calm down.
That's what I mean. So, notable people from this town. I just got excited because when I wrote this down, or when I copied this, it said, I thought it said Bob Barker.
Yeah.
And I was like, awesome, Bob Barker's from here, but it's Bob Baker. And he's a singing.
Who the fuck is that?
A singing cowboy in Western films.
God
that
damn
died
it.
in 1975.
Well,
like, that's not Bob Barker.
No.
That's fine, but
he probably got some speaking engagements and people showed up and they're like, who the fuck is that?
who's this? Hey,
can you get him to say come on down?
Is this the one who felt up the chicks who show you the cars and shit, or what? Not a chicks who guy has a washing machine. Does anyone want to grab their tits or no? No? All right,
Is he the one that would let the female contestants get the dollar bill out of his pocket, but then he would hand it to the men?
Go on down the rabbit hole. Watch out for the Puckerbrush. It's thick this time of year. It's thick in the spring.
Go ahead, Bernice. Grab that fresh $100 bill that's in my pocket. Hey, Todd, here's yours.
Yeah, here you go, Todd. He balls it up and throws it.
Fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Also, Mike Stenstrud, who's he was a defensive lineman who played for the Oilers and the Vikings. Oilers, that's the Titans now. For all you young people out there.
Did he ever do anything big? Was he?
No, just an off defensive lineman. He played for 12 years.
Wow.
Good career and
That's
shit.
Great.
But, I've heard of him, but I mean, whatever.
When did he retire?
1989.
Okay.
So,
not a lot of money.
No, probably not. He's probably farming now.
Yeah.
So,
he's probably got a sweet cornfield.
Oh, big time. Yeah. Population of this town in 1920, it had 2,100 people, and it pretty much kept that for about 50 years, 40 years, and it's slightly ticked up. People right now, 4,083.
That's not great.
So just not that many people. Down 8% since 1990. Female and male, they're kind of right on the money. A couple more females. A lot of under 18. A lot of kids, and double the 85 and older demographic. So great grandma, and there's a lot of great grandmas watching babies right now. I feel like
so much for corn being poisoned.
That's what they're thriving.
Yeah.
So the married population is a little less than normal, which is weird for a place like this. You would expect, maybe because of the young people and the old people, you mix that and you get less married people because the old people have outlived their spouse and the young people are obviously young.
Yeah.
And not married yet.
You get a chance.
So, you know how that works. So, race in this town, 92% white.
Yeah.
As when you think of Iowa, Iowa's motto should be Iowa, 92% white. Because I feel like that's what you think of immediately when you think of Iowa.
Their flag is just like
it's just white.
Yeah.
It's just a white flag.
It's cream. It's 98% white.
Is that a truce? No, it's off-white. I thought it was a truce, but it's just off-white. I don't get it. What is that?
It's a cream flag with a piece of corn on it.
Just an ear. 1.4% black, 1.2% Asian. So, I mean, not very, what's the word I'm looking for? Diverse here at all.
Melting pot.
No.
It is not.
66% 6% of people are religious here. It's normally 50-50. That's a lot. 0% Baptist.
Wow.
They like the mild religions in Iowa. They're like, none of that fucking fire and brimstone
We're very
shit.
nice around here.
Relax.
Yeah.
Everyone calm down.
Right.
We're all very calm.
Right.
There's it's all Lutherans, Methodists, Presbyterians, very calm religions.
Bring your corn to our potluck. Make your corn however you make it. Just bring it.
Just bring it on down.
We'll all talk about how
it.
we're all going to heaven.
We're going to love it. So there's that. 0.0% Jewish, 0.0% Islam, mild religions, no Catholic really either. It's just in Winnebago County here, 33%. Winnebago County is pretty conservative. 33% voted Democrat, 59% Republican, 7.1% independent. So it's a little high. Unemployment rate here is only 2.8%. So it is low. There's jobs here to be had, but the household income is lower than usual. It's usually about 58,000. Here it is 47,000. So it's a little low. A lot of jobs in manufacturing. Normally it's 10%. Here it is 35%.
Okay.
So this place is thriving on the manufacturing. So if that goes away, they're going to be in deep shit. There's a couple other things here too.
So Winnebago, is that like a Native American tribe or something?
I don't know if it is or not.
I mean, everything up there with Winna and Minna is something that has to do with, Minnetonka, Minnesota.
Have you seen Winnebago Man?
No.
It is the greatest documentary.
It's not a dude in a Winnebago just traveling around the world?
It is. It's a guy who sold Winnebagos and made this tape for a promotional video for Winnebago.
How do you know all the greatest documentaries?
Because I look for them. He's the angriest man ever. It's him every time the camera cuts. He's like, God, that motherfucking son of a bitch and shit. And he's throwing shit. He's the angriest man ever. It's so funny. And then they find the guy, because this was like in the 80s and it was a tape that just got passed around. This hilarious guy. And then they ended up this documentary. They went and found the guy, and he lives like in the mountains. And it's exactly what you would think. Like he's gone off into this thing. He's like a hermit now. It's amazing. Winnebago, man. You're welcome.
I can't wait.
You trust me.
Where
Stevie,
is it?
Everywhere. I think it's on. I was on Netflix last time I looked.
Really?
Probably. It's on something.
When was it made?
It's probably 2010.
Okay, so it's
like
pretty
that,
recent.
12. Yeah. It's all over the place.
All right.
So cost of living here is an 81. That's housing is low. 58 for housing. Our median home cost here $99,300.
Okay.
Very low here, and we'll talk about it. And if we've convinced you, you need to get to the middle. You can go to Forest City, Iowa with the Forest City, Iowa Real Estate Report. Your average 2-bedroom rental here is about $664 a month, which is half the average in the nation. Not too shabby. I found a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 1,563 square foot little white house. Little white house, or not a little white lot, but little white house.
Jesus.
White flag with corn on it. $49,500.
That's so doable.
I mean, that's pretty good.
How many square feet? 800?
1,563.
That's great.
That's not bad. You can move your family in there. A couple of kids. 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 2,256 square feet. It's ugly. It's green and brown and pretty ugly looking and shit. But $89,500.
Wow,
it's a lot of square footage for that.
Great.
It needs a little touch up. In the
for 89 grand.
What do you want?
It's doable.
I found a 3-bedroom, 4-bath, very nice, updated on 4 acres. 2,153 square feet. $284,500.
Wow,
that's about the most expensive thing you're going to find around here.
You could take the green and brown piece of shit and turn it into that.
Put it in there. You could put it. Exactly.
Turn it into that for cheaper than that.
4 acres too.
That's
you get a lot of land. Things to do. There's the Tree City Music Festival. This is pretty funny. Used to have giant acts. Like this year they had Dierks Bentley and Toby Keith and people I've heard of. I've heard of these people. A bunch of people I've never heard of, obviously.
Country.
But And what ended up happening though is now Country Thunder took it over, and they have like a touring thing here.
That's in Wisconsin.
Well, they have Wisconsin and Arizona, and up in Canada there's one.
Is there one up there
There's
too?
5 of them.
What?
And then they added this one now too.
What?
They're going to be. This is now going to be Country Thunder because there's a lawsuit with the Nashville company that does production services for the music festival. Filed a multi-million-dollar lawsuit against the other festival. So the guy who owned the other one filed Chapter 7 bankruptcy.
So this one's going to get absorbed into Country Thunder.
That's what it is. Also, Puckerbrush days.
Oh, yeah.
Bring your trimmers on down. It's Puckerbrush time. Woo!
They've got Puckerbrush days.
Days, yeah. I'll read you what it says.
How is this not jokes? How did you
this
not,
is true.
at 2 a.m. researching this,
3.
just be over the arm of the couch
I was like, what is happening?
Puckerbrush?
I'm like, what am I doing with my life? The history behind the unique name of the celebration is an unusual one. Early on, the town was surrounded by a dense bush called Puckerbrush. The bush had a berry on it. Oh, God, Jesus. It literally says it. I swear to God, Jimmy, that's an exact copy from the website.
You're damn right it had a berry on it.
And when eaten, it would make you pucker.
Oh, God, Jesus. It had better make you pucker.
What?
Oh, boy. If it doesn't make you pucker, you are not human. You are a vile monster.
Although the bush has long been gone from Forest City, the name stands as a symbol of the city's history. Here lied a dingleberry.
Holy crap!
3-day celebration.
Did they call it a dingleberry?
Of the probably a puckerberry, which is kind of worse, honestly. So, the Chamber of Commerce director said, "I think every town should have an annual celebration of their dingleberry past." Face painting, pet parade, salad luncheon, DJs, and fireworks.
They're doing.
Yeah.
Come on down to the
toss my salad down in Puckerbrush days. No, that's not okay. Iowa, you're doing it wrong.
You have no idea how many asshole puns you're in.
God damn it. That's not fair. It's almost like a
asshole pun.
It's almost like a trap for comedians. Like it's like a cartoon, like the Roadrunners laying something, or the Coyotes laying something out for the Roadrunner. Is like, I'll put a bunch of asshole puns. All the comedians will fall into the net then, and then the anvil will fall on them.
The coyote just drew a white stripe into the side of a mountain and drew a big asshole on it, and we all just ran into it.
That's it. With it perfectly. We keep trying. We're like, this is an asshole. Why won't it open for me? Good God. Salad luncheon. Salad luncheon, Jimmy. Also, oh, God. I don't even know what to say about this.
If you don't know what tossed salad is, Google and then erase your search history.
Exactly. It's been explained here and there. So, crime rate in this town, besides salad tossing, property crime is under half the average of the national average. So low. And violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and assault, the Mount Rushmore of crime, Jesus Christ, is about 2/3 the national average. Okay. So it's low, too. Yeah. It's a safe little place where everybody builds Winnebagos.
And I'm a child.
And you're a child. What am I doing here?
I can't help it.
Right here with you, for Christ's sake.
This is real. Yeah. And they keep it going.
They're proud of this. This is a thing that they're excited about.
Douche country and Puckerbrush.
That's it. Puckerbrush.
Holy shit.
Dingleberries and douche country. That's that. So with that all said, Puckerbrush is laid out. Yeah. Let's talk about a murder.
All right.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely, these people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked, God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News & World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. But why don't you focus also, you look at like green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well.
Right.
And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, that's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back to it. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Yeah. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there. Sure, Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com, Noom.com here. Based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information.
I think it's time because this is it's a crazy story, and this town obviously was absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. You can't, guys. Stop it. Stop it. Would you stop it with the pucker brushing? Okay, we can't have this anymore. We can't. You can't have a salad luncheon where at some point someone tosses a salad at the pucker brush luncheon.
And stop laughing.
Can't have it.
It's not funny.
And maybe that's what it is. Maybe everybody just walks around laughing hysterically the whole time because everything says pucker brush on it. They're like, that says it there too. Oh my God, this is fucking awesome.
Just taking pictures with signs.
Just next to it. Pucker brush.
They fucking wrote it out.
They're calling this. Look at this. It's a pucker brush berry. I can't make this up.
People bending over and spreading cheeks next to it.
Trim me up. Trim me up, Johnny.
I can't believe this is real.
It's real. So let's talk about a couple of people here. Let's talk about a couple people. Let's talk about a Jennifer and Bradley Johnson.
Yeah.
Bradley doesn't go.
Okay. Goddamn
Johnson, Puckerbrush.
What the fuck is
it's too much.
Somebody's getting fucked in the ass today.
Well, it's possible. You never know. It's small town murder. Who knows what's could happen? Anything could really happen.
Wow.
Bradley doesn't go by Bradley. He goes by Rob.
Yeah.
That's his middle name is Robert. So he goes by Rob, and so we'll call him Rob Johnson for the rest of the time. Okay. Jennifer and Rob Johnson here. Now, they're married. Rob Johnson worked at the Winnebago plant, of course. Yeah. Seems like as more than a third of the town seems to.
Yeah.
Before he started, he switched careers. He's like 21 years old.
Yeah.
But he switched out of the Winnebago making field to begin farming with his father out in Forest City.
That seems backward.
It's odd.
Seems like you'd get out of the fields and get indoors.
It's an odd path to farming. Yeah. It really is. Yeah. Normally, farmers are kind of bred, born and bred. And this kid was like, I'm going to make some Winnebagos and do that. He's like, you know what? Yeah. Farming is calling me.
Right.
Okay, maybe he likes the fields. I don't know what he likes. But
seems like those would be a real bitch to put together, though.
Winnebago?
Oh, my God.
Huge pain in the ass.
That seems like a night. There's
probably why so many people work there.
Right. Wiring harnesses fucking everywhere.
Shit is everywhere. All over the place. Everything. Because
there's
it's
a gadget every 3 feet.
It's a house with a car attached.
Right.
What are two things that go wrong all the time? Your house and your car. Right. So you put them together.
And you got all those problems in one.
Yeah. Now you're too much. Yeah. Can you imagine that?
And a fucking payment on it.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
When you're driving in your car, you don't have a leak in your plumbing.
No.
You know what I mean? That's not a thing that happens.
No.
That happens when you're driving a Winnebago. Or it could happen. I don't know. I'm sure they're built very well.
The stove rarely goes out in my Jeep.
That's what I mean. Ever. It's super. My toilet's never clogged in my back seat of my car. Ever. It's always flushes freely. You know what I'm saying?
It's ridiculous.
It's super weird. So now, and the farm he goes to farm on is right on the edge of Forest City. It's a rural area. It's out there. This is fields and farms and gravel roads and shit like that. This is not the town or even anything like this. It's rural, man. This is out there. Picture corn.
You got it.
And a lot of it.
Sticks
and other things. I'm sure growing. Now Jennifer's a couple years younger. She's 19 years old. We're going to go back to 1985 for this story at this point.
And that's how old they are in 1985.
That's how old they are. Rob is 22. Mm-hmm. Jennifer is 19. Jennifer graduated high school in 1983. Yeah. So 2 years before this, she graduated from Forest City High School. From there, she went on to she ended up, we'll talk about in a second, but she enrolled in college in, I think, Iowa State, and we'll talk about. And then she ended up currently, though, in 1985, in February of 1985, where we're going to pick this story up, she was a student at Waldorf College, where the athletes are dicks.
She's got a real ego about her.
Oh, she's just a jerk, boy. If she can throw a ball more than 5 feet, she's going to cause a disturbance in the line at Arby's every goddamn time. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
So, Jesus Christ. She went to Northern Iowa for a year. I'm sorry here. Yeah, she's born in 1965 in Mason City, and then they got married. We'll talk about this. They started dating when she was in junior high. Or when she was a junior in high school. Okay. I'm sorry, not when she was in junior high.
Jesus, James, that's junior high. He was 3 years older. That could have been statutory.
That could have been a little creepy. Yeah. Well, it would have been 15 and 13, I guess, but still creepy. Yeah, because you could be 13 in 8th grade and a sophomore at 15 or whatever, but still. Yeah. So, she was a junior in high school and he was a senior in high school. He was 21, I'm sorry, not 22. So she seems like she graduated when she was 17.
Right.
So she's advanced and he's a year behind on it. So that could be where your birthday's fault.
That's also generally how women and men are. You know what I mean?
Well, in school. I never copied off dudes in school. Always the chicks. No. You copy off the ladies because they're doing that shit correctly.
I copied off one dude once. Well, a lot. And then
But he was Asian, Jimmy. You got to understand. That's a different thing.
I copied off him.
Don't copy off white dudes. Put it that way.
And then he beat me. The bastard on.
Wait a second. No one gets bullied by someone they copy homework off of. Okay, that's the opposite relationship. People bully people that say, "Let me see your fucking homework."
I got bullied by him. All right, he won for sure.
I've never heard of that before. That is the next level of bullying that you've just uncovered that I've never heard of before.
Well, everybody used to just look over.
Smart bullies.
Yeah, we used to glance over at his paper. Well, one time I was a little bit unprepared, so I just kind of kept looking a lot throughout the test. Yeah. I finished, and then I went up and turned my paper in. Then he went up and got a new paper, and then came back and said that his is torn, and then he redid it all over again with the right answers, the motherfucker. I got all of mine wrong, and the teacher was like, "There's no way you could have done this unless you tried.
You're
unless
not
you did
that stupid,
right?"
Jimmy.
She's like, "You did this on purpose."
You get shit by accident.
I swear I didn't.
I'm really that dumb. Because the options there are either I'm a cheater or I'm the dumbest child you've ever encountered.
Or I am a certain
and Jimmy
problem.
Has to look this woman in the eyes and say,
I'm the dumbest man alive.
I'm the dumbest child who's ever come across your classroom. Ever.
That's what I stuck with.
I'm super stupid. Yeah.
She didn't buy it.
No, probably not.
I'm really sorry, Miss Morgan, for lying to you.
The dumbest person ever.
And Josh Green, you're a genius. You beat me.
Yeah, well, there you go.
You won.
What a dick.
You motherfucker, you won.
Jesus Christ. Oh, what a mess. So after Rob graduates high school, they break up for a minute here. He goes to Wyoming for 6 months.
Okay.
Who the hell goes to Wyoming? Who goes to Wyoming?
I mean, I go there for like a day and get the fuck out.
Yeah, like retired. I don't know if you want to go there like on some sort of weird rich person.
There's things
There's
for that.
like rich people.
Jackson Hole
there.
is that.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Ski places where there's
ski resorts.
rich people.
Where people go and
places I've never
shit piles of money.
Places I will never go and have never been.
You would hate it.
Oh yeah,
not just
like this is so expensive. This is ridiculous.
My hot chocolate was $19.
This is
what
crazy.
The fuck?
I could go
it's Swiss Miss.
I could go to northern Arizona and do this for like $50, the whole thing. They're just happy anyone's here. This is terrible. I'm not doing this. That's
Wyoming.
Yeah, I can't do that shit. So.
You hate it just on principle and the thought of it, but once you get there, it would be guttural, your hatred.
Oh, I can imagine. Plus, it's all cowboy stuff too.
That's what I mean.
Jesus, the westerns, the turquoise.
They have saddles for chairs, James.
People, saddles for chairs.
Yes. What? Bar stools that are fucking saddles.
Yeah,
okay.
That's no. Too far. You're taking it too far.
You're sincere.
God,
get
Jesus
the fuck out of here
Christ.
Is funnier than Puckerbrush.
God damn it. Sit on. Why?
Get out.
We have chairs, you dumb shits. If these were more comfortable, guess what everyone would be sitting on? Fucking saddles. You know what I'd be sitting on right now? A goddamn saddle. Holding on to it like a 4-year-old. Because that cowboys and 4-year-olds, those are the only people who want to sit on a fucking saddle.
Yeah.
Real cowboys and 4-year-olds.
And rich yuppie
no
fucks.
One else. Yeah.
Who are like, isn't this the greatest?
Yeah, I'm too old for my Harley now, so I'm going to sit on the saddle. I'm 72. I've aged out of my Harley, but I need something to piss my money away on. $19 hot chocolates and fucking saddle seats it is. Some turquoise jewelry for my wife. Put it on the Amex. Let's do it. Jesus.
Next door to an American Legion.
Oh, God damn it. So he goes to Wyoming.
Oh, that hurts so hard.
For 6 months to hate everybody.
Yeah.
Maybe he hated it.
Yeah.
He came back in 6 months. He might have hated it. He might have said,
Iowa's better than Wyoming.
What is this, saddles? And he takes off. Goes,
fuck out of here.
Fuck out of here with these saddles. No, I don't want a beer. I did till I saw this.
I'm suddenly not thirsty.
I'll stand. Thank you. So he goes there. She ends up enrolling in the University of Northern Iowa in Cedar Falls in the fall of '83. She wanted to teach first grade. Yeah. That's her goal here. Her goal all the way is to go to college and get her teaching certificate and be a teacher and teach first and second grade.
Noble
or
as
something like
fuck.
That. Yes, she wants to do that. And back then, people still wanted to do that. Now they want to, and then they look at it realistically, and they're like, "Oh God, you make no money, and you this is no,
you have to be around people's brats all day
for no money,
for nothing.
You have to like put your own money into this shit, into these kids that you don't even fucking know.
I got a fucking master's.
I'm not responsible for these children.
I'm more educated than these kids' fucking parents.
Yeah, so but back then it was still kind of a profession that people thought of as a profession. Not now, when you say teacher, you go noble because you'd have to be to do it. That's the thing, and I'm not. That's no disparagement of teachers.
No.
It is noble because you're getting bent over and pounded in your Puckerbrush
daily.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
It's a hammer.
It's not fair.
No.
So now, when Rob Johnson came back from Wyoming, they got back together again. Mm-hmm. This is I don't know. I guess I think they only broke up because he moved. That was the only reason. They get back together, and in June 1984, they get married.
Great.
So this is Jack and Diane.
Oh
here.
yeah.
This is
this is legit.
Rob and Jennifer.
Isn't that where he lives?
Indiana. I think.
Oh, Indiana.
But
right.
Indiana and Iowa, they start with eyes. They farm and shit.
Yeah,
it's the
fuck
same.
'em.
Fuck, it's the same
thing.
shit. Sorry, guys. You're very similar. Everyone from the outside looks at it that way too.
If you're not from Indiana or Iowa, that's how we see you.
It's like in the middle, you go, New York, New Jersey, same thing up there.
Right.
Same thing.
Right.
Indiana, Iowa, same thing. Right. We're all ignorant. Enjoy. So, they get married then. Now, Rob's family is into farming. That's the thing. They're like a well-known farming family. I think they got a couple of bucks and they got some farm. You can't be a well-known farming family, quote unquote, unless you got a few bucks. They're not this well-known struggling farm family. They're just barely.
Everybody knows them because they're the broke ones.
They're the broke ones.
They're either great or terrible. They're not somewhere in between.
Like 5 years for a nickel on the side of the road. They've got some. Your dad selling out of his broken down pickup with flies hovering around his half rotted corn.
They're all hard.
10 years for a nickel, please.
Takes a lot of butter to get these good.
It'll be good after a while, though. You can cream it,
soak it.
So that's right. So it seems like he kind of tried to break away from that and be a rebel. I'm going to go to Wyoming and then I'm going to work for Winnebago. Yeah. And then he's like, well, I guess I'm a farmer. I mean, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
That's what I'm here. That's my lot in life here.
All right.
So they get married and they move to this farm, which makes it much more difficult for her to go to school. So then she just enrolls in Waldorf College, which is in Forest City. Okay. So it makes it, it's a shorter trip for her to go. She didn't want to drive all the way to Cedar Falls.
This is brutal.
So what they're moving out, but this is like what they wanted. They're excited. They're young. They just got married. They're like, 21 and 19, just got married, moving out to a farmhouse together. She's going to get her degree and be a teacher. And he's going to be a farmer. And
at this age, though,
this is middle America shit.
She probably doesn't even see how much she's sacrificing.
No.
She's probably just like, this is
it's 1984.
Right.
This is what you were supposed to do. And in the Midwest, no offense, Midwest, but it's a little bit behind when it comes to that stuff. Like,
and this shit's super encouraged.
Yeah. They have more traditional values there in terms of shit like this and marriage and stuff like that. And especially, it took longer for that to kind of flush itself out there. It still hangs around now. But in 1984, you were supposed to, you're supposed to graduate high school and you marry your high school sweetheart, and then you guys have kids and you do your thing and you raise a family.
Do that shit young so that you're still young enough to enjoy your time.
That's what you do. Yeah. Then they get out of the house and whatever. But that's what they were trying to start to do here. But Waldorf College is a 2-year school, and she's going to enroll there, and she's going to get her teaching degree, and everything's going to be great. Okay. She's described by her friends. She's got a group of friends. There's 6 of them that they're from high school, and they went to college together and all that sort of shit, and they hang out, and they're an impenetrable group of chicks here.
Yuck.
It's the worst. It's a lot of cackling going on.
And they know every horrible thing you've ever done in your life. That's the worst thing. I hate that.
Every instance of whiskey dick that's ever occurred, they know about each other's things. They share like
every terrible period story. They all know it.
So
that's not a positive thing, by the way.
No, we don't need to
there
share
should be
this.
some fucking.
Then again, guys tell each other awful shit.
Yeah,
too.
but it's like
it's
you
gross.
did what?
Yeah, but then they'll tell it.
It's fun at 40. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The difference is we laugh about it. They're like, "Are you serious?"
Right.
We're like, "Are you fucking idiot?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you had a problem with your Puckerbrush, I would laugh at you, whereas women would be like, really? Have you seen the doctor? Is it okay? Like, they try to support each other, where I'm like, you fucking moron.
I think that's a symptom of HPV.
I think you should check that out. Yeah, they would care about it. That's the thing. They would care about each other's well-being and health. We're like, I don't know, you're on your own, jerk off. We make fun of each other, and we assume you'll take care of it on your own. It's super weird. One of her friends here says, quote, she's a very friendly person. She says, she's someone you'd want to say hi to if you met her on the street. This is about Jennifer. She had a smile for everyone. The 5 of us who were always her best friends always called her Giggles. That's her nickname.
Aww.
Giggles.
That's sweet.
They said she loved children, and she worked in a nursery school, like the nurseries at the Lutheran church on Sundays, like when people are at
the
church.
Sunday school part.
Yeah, she would be. That's where she worked on Sundays because she won't like to teach, and she wanted to be a teacher. Yeah, and that's free. Yeah. So I mean, she's a nice person.
That's volunteer shit.
She's a nice person. She's going to watch your kids for free.
Not just underpaid, but also for free.
And then telling them about Jesus too.
On her day off.
Got to try to convince them of that too at the same time. Also, her friend says that they were on the that Jennifer was on the B honor roll in high school. I don't know what that is. So she's B. I guess there's the A and the B. It's the second honor roll.
Honor roll was A's and B's.
So the B, so maybe that's all 80s.
Maybe she just had A's and B's.
All right, good for her.
That's probably true.
They were on the drill team together, so they did that. They were also in band and choir. So she's an active. Yeah, she's in band, choir, drill.
She certainly gives a shit.
She gives a shit. Yeah. She's trying. She's going to school. She's a hustler, man. She does stuff, and she's a kid with a motor. You know what I I mean? She's trying to find somewhere to be in the world.
Give an effort in every turn.
Yeah, they got the 6 of them. They said they were like sisters, and they were, had a whole big thing together here. So Rob and Jennifer, though, they live together in a farmhouse. It's an idyllic Midwestern 80s story here.
Also, the beginning of a horror story.
Also, the beginning of just blood all over the corn. One of the two. So
it's a goddamn a horror novel cover right there.
Oh, it's blood on the corn. If you see just a cornfield with blood, like one of the corn is yellow, bright yellow, but half red with blood, you're going to go, what is this? Someone got
I'm going to read this one.
This is interesting.
This one's from me.
Whoa, why would you murder someone out there? You could just walk away. There's a lot of room. And that would interest me. You know what I mean? So, this is the setting for this whole thing. Now, Rob also, in addition, this is where the story takes it.
Oh, boy.
It all sounds very John Cougar Mellencamp now. And then it takes a turn because they live in this quiet thing, and she's going to teach 2nd grade and teaches the kids at the Lutheran school on Sundays. And Rob is like a 3rd-generation farmer and moving to this farmhouse, and it's all ideal. Oh, Rob also sells cocaine.
Oh, Jesus.
Rob. What is the last thing you expected me to say right there? Rob also sells cocaine out of the farmhouse.
Yeah.
Come on by it's 10 ears for a nickel and an 8-ball for $1.50.
I genuinely thought you were going to go somewhere with needs multiple sex partners, like something like that.
Yeah.
But it's even worse. It's something
even
it's illegal.
It's strange too. It's just what? What are you doing? Farm, dummy. Are you growing cocaine? No? Then what the fuck are you doing?
You're
growing coca
such
leaves.
An angel. What the fuck are you doing?
Well, she's okay with it too. That's the thing. Married couples where one of them deals cocaine, the other one's okay with it, or else they wouldn't be there.
Right.
If you're with, if you were, let's say you didn't have Emily and you found some girl and you started going out with her and she, you started, hey, I like this girl. You went out a few times and then she's like, oh, by the way, hold on, I got to stop and drop a bunch of cocaine off places. You'd be like, what the fuck?
Wait, that's in my car? Get the fuck out.
I want to hang out with you. Yeah, that's what I mean. You wouldn't want it in your house, in your car. That's what I'm saying. So
if I get arrested, James does this shit on his own. That's no fun.
I have to make fun of you all the time.
That's the other part. There's going to be a small town murder in the first half hours. You making fun of me?
Yeah,
I'm out.
It'll be crime and sports
the
on
fuck
Jimmy.
Out of my Jeep.
And you'll have to make fun of yourself, which will be terrible. I'll be like, come on, let's go. You can dish it out, fucker. So
Jimmy played high school basketball. That's the extent. Grace.
Now, here's what happened. So he dealt cocaine all around to the local people who wanted to do cocaine in the 80s in Iowa. I didn't know cocaine had made it to Iowa by 84.
That's pretty impressive.
Apparently it did. Yeah. It's got staying power. That cocaine travels fast.
It does. That is the rumor about cocaine.
Well,
it's got some energy behind it.
That's the thing. It moves quickly.
It does.
Well, it's
Peters out at the end.
Once it got to got close, got to Missouri, and that kind of
started to slow down and trickled in.
Yeah. That's the thing about thing about cocaine, though, is it'll spread quickly because when you have something that people are like, there's this thing, it's magic.
Right.
That'll spread.
You are not going to fucking believe this.
Here's what it is. You feel kind of tired end of the day at the Winnebago factory. Little bit of this, you feel great.
And you don't.
You feel fantastic. You can go out and you can drink all night long and not even be drunk. It's amazing. You're going to love it.
Yeah.
So that's if people who are into that sort of thing, they would go, wow, that sounds wonderful. And they'd find it, I would assume.
Yeah.
So apparently they were very social. And that's the thing too. They're, 19 and 21 years old. They have a lot of friends because they're from this area.
Yeah.
So they have a ton of friends.
Right.
So they know all the young people from this area. So there's a lot of people hanging out at the farmhouse.
Sure.
Tons of friends coming on. When you're 19, people come and you have your own house.
Yeah.
Your friends are coming over.
Oh boy.
Yeah, they're all going to hang out.
You don't have anything nice.
No.
Everything is fucking trash.
Everything has urine and jizz. It's sticky for some reason. You don't know what the hell's on it. It's disgusting. Fucking Puckerbrush berries all over the place. It's disgusting. But yeah, that's how it is. But if you have your own place, especially a farmhouse with some privacy,
right,
you're going to be partying out there.
Fuck yeah.
People are going to party out there.
The cops coming from a while away.
And no one's going to call them.
Right.
You're on your own.
And
you're
then if they're coming, you can see the lights on the horizon. Put the shit away.
17 miles.
Yeah.
You ever seen Field of Dreams? How many cars are I can count them. Let me get on the roof. I'll just count them for 5 miles back. So they had a ton of friends and acquaintances that were always staying at their house and, visiting, and they're staying overnight or leaving or partying, or, they had kind of a party farmhouse, which again, weird.
Yeah.
Now, February 9th, 1985. We'll get it down to here. Now, after 6:30 p.m. nobody hears from them for the rest of the night. Okay. After 6:30 p.m. That's the last anyone hears from them. That is when a woman that they know that usually babysits for them asked if she needed them to babysit tonight, because they said they might. And Rob told her, "No, you're good, and don't come over to the house, please." That's what he said. So, which was odd, because usually it's like anybody who wants to come over can come over.
Right.
As long as they're home, come on by and party. It's one of those things.
No, we're good. We'll come by and have a drink. That's probably more like
we're going to be exactly. Come on by and start a line or do whatever.
But this time he says, "No, we're good.
We're good,
and stay the fuck out.
And please don't come over."
Right.
Yeah, which is strange. Now, a man who we'll talk about because he's an interesting guy. This is like there's so many characters in this story that are like shady and creepy and weird, and it's in Iowa, and I picture all this shit happening in the cornfields, and it's just it's the strangest scenario ever. This case, I just kept scratching my head, and I'm like, is this the same one? I kept thinking I was getting different facts from a different case, and I'm like, no, it's the same. This is crazy. Did they veer off into another thing? What is happening? So a guy named Zois Sclaventis.
Yeah.
Okay. Sclaventitis.
No.
Yes. Sclavenitis.
That sounds like a disease.
Sclavenitis. It is. It's a Greek. He's a Greek.
Of course he is.
He is like from Greece. That's why I say he's a filthy Greece with a hairy puckerbrush.
Yeah, the amount of puckerbrush on this guy is insanity.
So Zois Scavalintis. Whatever the fuck. Zois. He calls Rob at 7:15 p.m. Okay. November 9th, 1985. And he said a male voice answered the phone that was not Rob and said that the Johnsons were not home at that point. And this guy, Zois, Scavalabakalava, here.
Scavalaklava.
Zois Scavabaklava. He says he was unable to identify the voice. He said it sounded familiar, like somebody he might know, but not Rob, and he can't definitely identify it. Okay? Now, no one hears from the Johnsons for the rest of the night, which is a Saturday. It's a weird thing that no one hears from them. They're social. People are going to come over.
Yeah, that's when business is booming.
That's the thing. And people are going to come over to see them, and they're not going to get any answer at the door and shit like that. It's very strange. So the next morning, a couple of friends came over that were there the night before looking for them, and they weren't there. They were supposed to be there, so they thought it was weird. So they came back the next morning, knocked on the door, get no response again. Like, this is fucking weird.
Yeah.
Right? This is strange. So they found an unlocked door to the house and went in the house, because it's a rural Iowa farmhouse in 1984. Right. Yeah, I don't know how anal people are about locking their doors in this. I mean, if you have Coke in the house, still.
I would,
yeah. I'm always locking everything. You're not, fuck that.
Especially if there's drugs involved.
And if there's
drugs involved. I want to hang on to this shit.
Exactly. You're doing it for a reason. So they enter the unlocked door, and they look around the house, and finally in the bedroom, they find Jennifer in the bedroom, and it's not great.
Oh, bye.
Jennifer is completely nude.
Oh, no.
And face down on her bed in a pool of blood, with clearly multiple stab wounds in her back.
Oh, shit.
A lot of them.
Yeah.
More than 5 times she was stabbed in the back and neck.
Oh, no.
In her own bed in a rural farmhouse. So you don't expect to be stabbed to death in your own bed in a rural farmhouse.
That's got to be the worst way to die.
That's fucking horrible.
I mean, apart from drowning in fire, it's got to be, right?
That's got to be terrible, I would think. Because you're just, it's terrible. Shit. So they said the wounds appeared to be, this all seemed to happen right on the bed.
Yeah.
Like she wasn't stabbed somewhere else and dragged and placed on the bed or anything like that. They think this happened right in the room while this is going on. So, they found that a stab wound in her back pierced her heart. That was the cause of death. And, no murder. They couldn't find the murder weapon, the knife at all. It's interesting.
Yeah.
And so they don't know what the fuck right away. You know what I mean? They don't know what to think about this. They end up doing a little investigation and they find out that Rob sells coke.
Yeah.
And so they're like, well, there's that. And also they can't find Rob.
Where the fuck is he?
He's not here.
Uh-huh.
So they're like, okay, dead woman on a bed. Where's the husband is the first thing you're going to look for.
Yeah.
If he's disappeared, right, he seems like a pretty good suspect if he's not around.
Or
if he's not dead next to her, he's probably a good suspect.
Also disappeared, sells coke. Maybe he's being held for ransom
That's
somewhere.
the other thing.
Jesus Christ. This is too much for us.
Yeah, this is too much for Iowa. Too much, Iowa. You're gone too far this time with your Puckerbrush and your salad luncheons and your fucking farm murders. It's too much.
Oh, Jesus.
But this isn't what you expect.
No.
Even police being called to the scene of anything in a rural farmhouse like that, they're going to think, okay, this is going to be domestic, probably, if it's anything, or, whatever, a robbery, a clear robbery or something.
But then you find out he sells coke.
Then
and
it's
you're like,
all,
oh my God.
it all opens up.
I got this job because it was a safe career path to retire.
No, this is going to be a pain.
Fuck?
Well, the problem with the coke is not only do you get, also then you have to buy coke from people who probably are violent.
Right.
You have that sort of thing. But then you're also, so many low-level scumbags that you sell coke to that are
who need it.
And plus there's just a lot of people, you're in the underworld at that point, so you're going to find people who are shitty people around.
You're dealing with scumbags below you and above you.
Yeah. There's a lot of drug people that are fine. They just like drugs. I've hung out with plenty of people who like drugs, and they were fine. They didn't bother me. They were fine about it.
Yeah.
They were cool to hang out with and whatever. Their drug problem didn't affect me.
Right.
Knock yourself out. They didn't have a drug problem, probably. That's why. They just like doing drugs. There's a difference.
Wouldn't it be great if people that sold and did drugs were just super fucking above board with each other?
That'd be great. It's like On the Wire. It's the same thing. It is. They're sitting out there and they go,
damn it.
why gotta be about all this killing and shit, man? Why? That's a D'Angelo. They're talking about it in the pit and the low rises one day. Why gotta be? It doesn't have to be like that.
Doesn't.
Why can't we just sell the shit and move on?
Right.
That's the point.
That's what I mean.
But when it's all illegal, it's that's what I mean. If you sell someone a loaf of bread at the grocery store, no one's going to come back with a gun about that transaction. It's not going to happen.
No.
You give them the bread, they give you $1.69, we all fucking move on because it's a legal transaction that we've all seen. So I don't know. Take from that what you will.
The legal breaking somebody's kneecaps for selling you a shitty product is Yelp. That's what I mean.
Yeah, but it's that exactly that is.
Let's have that. Let's have drugs be legal, and we just discuss it we review you.
That's all.
And very much like Uber, back and forth. We can review you as a druggie, too.
And if your drugs were bad, or if your drugs were killing people, if there was like a bad batch or so, everyone would know about it immediately. Now. It would be so fucking fast, and probably shit would be tested out ahead of time, so you would know it. Like weed with the store, they test it out for THC level because they have to put what the THC level is on there.
And then you got to have a knowledgeable staff that's selling this shit, so they need to try it.
That would be. Imagine that staff. Hey guy, how's it going? Yeah, good to see you. All right, yeah. What do you got? Hey, you got people in here. Let's go.
This China White. This China White is great.
Imagine the line. Imagine the line. People, hurry the fuck up there. Jesus Christ, goddamn it, just people fucking jittering. That's the jitteriest fucking line ever.
His bodega on earth.
Oh God!
But I want to see
Come on,
it.
God damn it!
I bet
it's
people
better than this.
It is.
That's
it really
the thing.
is. Because
I'm sorry.
This is people. Then you got families being murdered at the fucking border because it's a mistaken identity. Because it's fucking horrible.
Yeah, people being murdered in farmhouses in Iowa. People are being. People
are getting executed because they don't have anything to do with this.
Legal business leads to very little violence. Usually, that's the thing. Unless it's a personal beef, it's
at
usually
minimum
not.
Much lower.
Much lower. Yeah, if people have a business together and one guy wants to screw the other guy out of it or something, but it's not a matter of this where it's just constant because everyone's breaking the law anyway, so they might as well go further.
Also, I'd really enjoy buying stocks of cocaine on
I would too.
NASDAQ or some shit.
That'd be great.
I can't wait till weed goes public.
Oh man, fantastic.
The fucking first offering. I'm in. Let's go. I'm buying at the bottom.
You're going to be referring to me, James. What do you think? This or this? You're like, well, Jimmy.
What do you?
I'm his field guy.
What do you see in that sour diesel future? What do you see?
Sky's the limit, Jimmy. Buy. It's a bull market on the sour D.
Unreal.
So
how do you see that? How do you see that tangerine working out this fall?
Well, you know what? Honestly, it's kind of a light. I'd go light on that right now. THC's testing out a little low. So, Jesus Christ.
Strawberry futures.
My strawberry Kush futures. So, it's big business now too, though.
It fucking right is.
Especially like in Canada, where it's actually like legal everywhere, like federally legal or nationally legal.
Amsterdam, it's bananas.
It's been big.
It drives tourism. Sorry.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, ask Denver. So the people here are all, they don't know where Rob is. Yeah. She's dead, and everybody wants to frame it as, and I'm not saying it's not true, but they're trying to frame it as this innocent girl who got caught up in whatever the fuck, whether her husband killed her or whether there was some drug thing or whatever it is, this innocent girl. Her friend said, quote, the fact that she was an innocent bystander in this whole thing, a kind, loving person who just simply got in the way is what upsets me. Now, she doesn't know that, but you know, she's a nice person.
Outside looking in.
Exactly. Yeah. And she also says, her friend says, quote, it needs to be said, too, that she and Rob both loved each other so much that I'm sure if someone was hurting Jennifer, he would have gone for him or done something. He knew karate. So if any,
guarantee you,
if any 11-year-old attacked him in a strip mall, he could take him down as long as he was a higher belt than him. I don't mean to laugh at this woman's pain, but he knew karate is fucking hilarious. That's objectively hilarious. And this is the time Karate Kid came out right then. So it's like, he knew karate, so, I mean, he could do the crane thing. And
crane the shit out of him.
No.
Swept the leg.
Yeah.
I see him kicking him right in the Puckerbrush.
Yeah, right in the Puckerbrush.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about a healthy, delicious item, Hero Bread. And we're both trying to get healthier this new year. Jimmy had a eye-opening doctor's appointment and things like that. Yeah. So we're trying to get healthier, and I'm telling you right now, this Hero Bread is a good step in this direction. It's delicious, and it is really good for you, and it's really excellent. They have the sliced bread is good, the bagels, the tortillas. I know you've been
they're terrific.
Ranting about the tortillas. They're so good. With Hero Bread, you can focus on your health goals and still indulge in the soft, fluffy experience you love, but guilt-free. I really love the little Hawaiian rolls, too.
Yeah.
They're so good. They're so good. The Hawaiian rolls, they're legit. They're fluffy. Yeah. They're exactly how you want them to be. You'd never know it's low-carb and high-fiber bread from the texture. You get the soft, fluffy experience you know and love with your savory breakfast sandwich, late-night grilled cheese, Taco Tuesday. Do it. No compromises, just flavor, ultra-low net carbs, 0 grams of sugar, high in fiber. It's fantastic. Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use the code SmallTownMurder at checkout. That's SmallTownMurder at HERO.co.
And now back to the show.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you all sorts of good stuff about Chime. That's what I'm talking about. There's so many extra fees you have to pay in life. Everything. You go to the airline, there's an extra ticket on that. There's extra fee on every fees and fees, hotels, fees, all this type of stuff. We're trying to make progress, and the next thing you know, here comes another fee coming at you, and it's more money than you expected, and your whole math is thrown off, and it's awful. Learn more at chime.com/smalltownmurder. Chime is great with that stuff. I mean, you can't beat if your things are a little tight, especially around the holidays or after the holidays. Yeah. You need that money a couple days early, or you go grocery shopping. You got a car payment due. There's so many things that don't cross over exactly how you want them to cross over. Make progress toward a better financial future with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/smalltownmurder. That's chime.com/smalltownmurder. feels like progress. Banking services and debit cards provided by Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A., members FDIC. Spot Me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in Spot Me and are subject to monthly limits. Timing depends on submission of payment file. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs.
And now back to the show.
Wow. Problem is there seems to be weapons involved here.
Right. He certainly didn't disarm the man while he stabbed his wife.
Karate farmer over here. I don't know what's going on here.
Koki the karate farmer.
Koki the karate farmer. There he is. So they, at this point, after they find him, now the thing they need to do the most is find out where the fuck Rob is.
Yeah.
Like, we really need to know where he is. A, to just see if he's alive.
Sure okay.
See if he did it.
And tell him, by the way, your fucking wife's dead.
Super dead.
Yeah.
Which they think he knows that. He either did it or knows it and has been killed himself
right.
because he would have been around by now to find out.
You'd think so.
And now he'd be right in the paper by the next day. So, yeah, they said they're going to seek him. The chief of police here said, we are looking for him and we have conducted a ground and air search trying to find him. Wow. They are fucking APB.
Right.
Nothing else going on in Iowa right now.
We flew a kite.
Yeah.
With a camera on it.
That's it. They said he's fun. Back then, that's what it was. It was a heavy camera, too. It was hard. It's one of those big VHS ones with the battery pack dangling off by a wire.
We had to tie it to the back of the car and drive.
That was rough. Johnson's being sought. He's 5'8", weighs 165 pounds, blue eyes, blonde hair. Obviously, he's from Iowa,
right?
So we knew that.
We know.
And he's wearing blue jeans again. Obviously,
we know.
Yes, he's basically dressed like a blonde John Cougar Mellencamp. Yes. Keep your eyes out. So they said They said, are you looking for him as a suspect? Or are you looking for his body? Yeah. And they wouldn't say.
Oh,
they said we're not saying yet. Basically, they said right now. They said though the director of the Department of Criminal Investigations, he said that Johnson at this moment, quote, is not a suspect. We would just like to talk to him.
Yeah.
And see if he stabbed his wife to death. We'd like to have that talk with him. That's
I'd like to
saying.
see if his clothes have blood on them still.
Shit like that.
Right.
We're looking
see
for.
what he knows.
So, what's up with Rob? Yeah. Basically, here, Jennifer's friends now are very upset with what they call the innuendo.
All six of them.
Which I thought, five. She's six.
She's the sixth.
She's the sixth. They keep in the paper. They keep calling it innuendo, but doesn't that have a sexual connotation to it? Innuendo, by definition,
right?
Innuendo as a
I mean, that's basically what it's very much like
whenever you
conjugal.
It might mean, but when it's in our language, it means one thing.
It means sexual.
It means sexual. Right. Innuendo means someone says you're fucking somebody. Right. Period. There's no other thing about it.
Exactly.
Or you're saying something because you want to fuck somebody and you're throwing a thing out at them.
That it's essentially a sexual term.
It's
one
a
way
sexual
or another,
term
it
of some
goes
kind.
Sexual.
So, but they don't in the paper. I don't know. It's a weird English thing that I find.
So
strange.
what are they saying?
They're saying a drug involvement. They keep talking drug involvement in all these papers, and the friends are saying that this talk is they're tired of it. It disturbs her friends. Mm-hmm. They say that it's damaged the reputation of their dead friend here. Right. They said that she, quote, her one friend said that Jennifer, quote, never ever touched drugs and never would. You know what? That's hard. I don't want to speak ill of this. She's a victim of a crime and all this, but the facts just say if there's coke in the house and all your friends come over and they party all the time, she probably fucking partied a little bit.
She's tried it.
That doesn't make her a bad person, though. That's the thing. In 1984 in Iowa, that made you a bad person, though. You were anyone who went near cocaine was a bad person. Drug people were bad people. Just say no, Jimmy. This is Reagan horseshit fucking 80s.
The problem
just say no bullshit.
The problem with that approach and trying to clear your friend's good name is all that does is keeps the police from fucking investigating this properly.
That's the other thing.
You gotta have the
they
cocaine
just want her
involved.
to feel, that gives us a bad name.
Who gives a shit?
The group of girls can't have cocaine involved. It's Iowa.
It's involved in this murder, ladies.
No shit.
So shut the fuck up and swallow your pride.
That's all it is. So she never would. So they said that, and now the investigators say that drugs might be an issue in the case, but they say that they don't think Jennifer Johnson had any involvement in the drug trade herself. Okay. She wasn't meeting with people or doing anything like that. But they know that her husband is. The Forest City Police Chief here, Doug Book, said his name is Doug Book. and he's the police chief.
He goes by it, too.
Book him. That's right, motherfucker. That's me.
I go by it, and I'll do it.
That means he punches you right in the Puckerbrush. When they say book him, you're like, oh, they're going to take me in.
Here we
and
go.
You're like, ow! And
it's Doug again.
You turn around, big smile on his face. Gotcha, huh? You thought I was going to book you into jail.
I booked you all right.
I booked you all right, my own way. He says about Rob, quote, he's been involved with drugs, but he was trying to kick it to get away from all that at this time. Yeah. So there's a bunch of people who said that Rob was trying to get his shit together and get out of the coke trade. Right. That was his goal recently. He was trying to pay some people off, but a lot of people say that. He had a drug debt that he was trying to get money to pay off, basically.
Jesus.
So to his suppliers. Now, he's going around saying basically he's trying to collect money to pay them off so he could be done with the whole thing.
What does this go?
But that's what people say all the time when they're in the middle of shit.
It's like a gambler.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a gambler. It's the same thing with someone who does drugs. Yeah. It's the same thing if you're doing drugs. You're like, I'm just going to do it this one last time and I'm going to party and do that. But then when you're high, you're feeling, this is fantastic. I don't ever need to do this again because this feels great
it's
now.
The last one.
And then later on, you want to be high again.
And you're like, fuck, that was so great.
Yeah. So that's what it's weird. But there's also other evidence. His pastor comes forward here, which he's missing. And his pastor is publicly saying what they've discussed in private religious meetings.
What the fuck,
which I think is fucking, it's positive in Rob's behalf, but you can't do that.
No.
That's ridiculous. The reverend here of the Calvary Baptist Church, he said that Johnson had conferred with him about his cocaine use, and that he said that he didn't talk about dealing. He said, though, that he was making an effort to stop, and the Reverend said, quote, he definitely is making a move in that direction to stop. So everybody thinks that, basically. So what fucking is going on this weekend here on February 9th when this whole thing happened? This is, like I said, Rob was concerned about collecting. He was going around trying to collect money from people that owed him money for coke so he could pay his guys off. That's
Jesus, he's trying to pinch and save.
That's what was going on. He was trying to, you owe me money, you owe me 300. He's calling in his markers. Everybody's fronted. Because he might be supplying smaller dealers that are, how it goes. Some people are personal, some people are going to get an 8-ball and break it down in a little bit, whatever. So they said, though, the police are ruling robbery out as a motive. They said because nothing of value was missing from the home. The 2 cars were still in the garage. There's, both cars, 2 cars in the garage.
He didn't just walk.
That's the other thing.
Oh, this is horrifying.
Which, who knows? But that would be, if you were going to kill your wife and run away, doing it in your own car would probably not be the smartest move.
Yeah, but
also
easier to find. Killing your wife and literally having to run away
on foot.
That's
through
terrifying.
The fields.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
Up to Minneapolis.
They can see you running away for days.
Yeah. Now the police chief, Old Bookham, says that information they gained in a recent traffic stops. Basically, they were doing vehicle checks of traffic passing by the Johnson home. At the time, it was up the street from there. Yeah. So they ran into a bunch of cars that were going that direction, and they said they that might have paid off, and they said that they now have a bunch of new people to talk to when they went over those records. But still into March, no Rob. From February 10th. Goes into the middle of March.
Oh, no.
March 14th, finally, utility workers are working on the edge of somebody's rural property here, and they find Rob's frozen body in a ditch.
God damn it.
He's fully clothed and died of multiple gunshot wounds to the back of the head.
Fuck.
In a ditch on the side of the road. Not where he was killed either. No? He was killed and dumped. It's not the murder site at all. Obvious. They can tell that easily. Not the murder site. It's a dump job.
Oh, no.
So, he's fully clothed at this point, partially decomposed, but also pretty frozen because it's, February and March in northern Iowa. Yeah, absolutely. It'll, maybe preserve evidence. Also, it fucks up knowing when things happen.
The time frame is ruined.
Helps some things, hurts some things. Right. It's one of those deals. So they find him there.
With her, they know the time frame. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
They know some of it.
The next morning they found her. So sometime between 6:30 when they talked to somebody, the babysitter, and she was heard in the background, and 10 o'clock the next morning. To 10 o'clock the next morning, she was killed. Him. Who the fuck knows what happened here? These found in a ditch. It's 6.5 miles away from their house. Okay. This ditch, very rural area here. 4 times in the back of the head at close range, which sounds A, very on purpose, and B, sounds like people who do that often
super personal
would do that. Back of the head at close ranges. That's called execution style.
It's called cocaine deaths.
That's execution style. That's But when you hear, it doesn't sound like it's weird. We'll find. We'll talk about it here. So they said, he's definitely been shot somewhere else. The body was ditched there in a ditch. Perfect place to ditch something.
That's where snitches go.
In ditches.
Well, stitches.
There you go. No stitches, but not a snitch, put in a ditch without stitches.
All right.
So that's how you know he's not a snitch.
It's all bullshit.
That's how you know he's not a snitch, because he had no stitches in the ditch. That's how it goes. So, in ditches with no stitches or snitches.
Right.
Here we are. No murder weapon found here either. It's not like there's a gun next to him, anything like that. Nobody dumped him and then threw the gun on top of him or any deal like that. Yeah, like mob style.
Right.
Then there you go. There's your murder weapon, cocksucker. Yeah. Enjoy looking for it. Right. There it is. No fingerprints.
Numbers, no fingerprints.
Enjoy.
You wanted it anyway.
Yeah, there it is. That's what they do.
It's useless also.
Remember The Godfather.
Yeah.
You put your hand on your side, drop the gun slowly. Mikey, after you shoot the police chief in the fucking forehead. Got to do it calmly. So, they examine, now they have both their bodies so they can determine certain things. Pathologist examines both bodies and determines that from both of their digestive systems, they ate the same meal at the same time before they died. So they ate together that night. So that they know of. They say that Rob died before Jennifer.
Oh, shit.
Rob died first based on the digestion of everything. So that's very fucking interesting.
That means she saw that shit.
Who knows? She's nude in her bed.
Wow. So that's fucking what the shit.
Did he go? And there's no sexual assault or anything like that. This is not sexual. There's nothing like that. Her body, she was not assaulted in any way sexually. Just the stab wounds and that's it. She wasn't beaten or anything like that.
What the hell?
So all I can think of, did he say, I'm going to go out and do something, and it was getting late, and she's like, I'm going to bed, and then maybe she just sleeps in the nude. A lot of people do, and there you go. She slept in the nude, and somebody
Puckerbrush. Now you know.
Somebody took him away, or somebody got caught up with him out there, and then she was killed out here. Who the fuck knows? Now they're pretty sure that he didn't kill her, though. They're pretty sure Rob didn't do it.
It's hard.
Now they're looking at it.
It's a hard go.
If he died first,
4 bullets, and then he stabbed,
that'd be tough.
That's a tough
one.
And
then threw himself in a ditch to the
and
side
he
of the road.
Bleed anywhere? That's amazing.
Yeah, very amazing. They found noodles and vegetables in both of their stomachs to be similar.
No.
So that was their thing. They estimated that Jennifer ate about 1 to 1.5, but not more than 2 hours prior to her death.
Okay.
So this could have been somewhere in the 9:30, 10 o'clock range. If they ate at 7:30 or so, 7 o'clock in there, maybe. Who knows? But Rob died before that. Police have a lot of people to talk to.
Oh God, yeah.
They know so many people, and they're like, oh Jesus Christ. First they thought farm. They're like, great. They probably know 3 people.
Right.
We'll talk to their mom, their dad, and their cousin, and that'll be the end. The guy down at the feed store.
What?
Shit. Now he knows everybody.
There's fingerprints all over this house.
Of people, of probably
Everybody.
people with criminal records too. A lot of them, and shit like that. A lot of shit to sift through.
Oh my God.
Just made this investigation ridiculous. They interview more than 100 people. Which is, think about the population of the town. That's a shitload of people.
Right.
That'd be like if they interviewed 100,000 in Phoenix. You know what I mean? We interviewed 100,000 people in this murder.
James, there's 8 million, 7 million in the state. I know like 20 people.
That's what I'm saying.
Thank God.
100.
Oh, I don't want to deal with coke ever.
That would be the biggest nightmare of dealing coke, because you have to deal with people.
Being young though, it makes you. I don't know, man. Having people around feels so cool.
It feels because you want people to like you.
Like, they like me. No, they don't.
Now you want people to like you, so you can not hang out with them. That's what you want.
I want you to like me so much you respect me, and you don't want to be around.
It's the Seinfeld joke. As adults, I've said this before. We want nothing more than to be liked by a large group of people who we don't care for. That's the goal.
Jesus Christ, that's hilarious.
It's the truth. Yeah, it's worded so.
It's
efficiency
there's no
of
fat
words.
on that, James.
Efficiency of words. That's why Seinfeld's good always.
That's the leanest joke I ever heard.
It's lean and mean though, dude. It's so great. You're still laughing about it. It's wonderful.
It's perfect.
So they interview 100 people.
Yeah.
They say that they had one guy from Garner, which is a town near there, and they thought that they had something here, but then his alibi gets confirmed, and he passes a lie detector test. So they're like, like, okay, back to square one here. Like they're trying to find people, anything here. They say in the paper, this is a great quote from the Des Moines Register, the investigation has extended as far south as Iowa Falls, about 60 miles south.
Oh,
as far
whole 60 miles.
Oh my, 60 miles.
Jesus, they's a traveling.
I could barely see that from my porch.
Does he have a Winnebago?
Oh, Jesus.
How'd he get so far?
As far as Iowa Falls. Not all the way to Iowa Falls. Holy shit.
That's like here to Mesa, James.
Oh, man. Jesus Christ.
60 miles.
It's fucking ridiculous. 60 miles. Huge investigation. Sprawling. Sprawling. Just spread out for days.
Right.
So, oh my God. So they're thinking they find a couple guys here who they're cocaine dealers in town or in the area, and they think they're the people here at first. They think they have the guys. Okay. Rob Johnson was deep in debt to these guys, and they said Rob had told other people that these were the type of guys who, quote, broke legs of those who didn't pay their debts. Okay. So they're fucking coke dealers who don't mess around. You pay coke dealers their goddamn money you owe them, or they'll break your fucking legs.
Pretty much pay all drug dealers the fucking money you owe them.
That's the thing. Yeah. That's why, again, legitimate business. You can say all you want about how credit card companies will screw you and the 24% interest. If you don't pay it, they won't come to your house and physically beat you. That's the thing. They can take shit from you, but they can't physically hurt you.
They physically hurt you in another way when you go to try and buy a nicer car.
That's it. Yeah.
Best of luck.
But they're not going to send some guy over in a polo shirt and khakis to break your fucking legs with a clipboard. You Jimmy Whisman? Yeah. Let's see here. It says here you're about 4 months behind on you've been paying the monthly minimum, but that's not enough anymore. We're gonna have to ask you for no, and whips out a billy club. It's one of those extendables. Starts fucking wailing on your kneecap. Tanya Harding's the shit out of you, and that's that.
You want to just pay this up front?
Yeah. Jesus Christ. So
start paying more. We'll be back next month.
Yeah. Gonna come back. All right. Puts it away. Puts it back in his pocket. Have a good one. Gets in his Buick LeSabre and drives away.
Neighbor's home. I got to go over there too.
Weird. So now Johnson has a drug dealing partner, a guy named William Trosper. He's 24 years old. He's his partner. He's his little, they're whatever. They're going in together on the whole thing.
Buds.
Yeah. And he says about these two, the guys that they were buying it from, the suppliers, quote, they were the people we were dealing with. They were the people who came around when I learned of the murders, he said, at that point. So he says, though, the investigators end up concluding that the men they were looking into, the coke suppliers, were not involved in the slayings, so much so that they give these two men immunity from prosecution on drug charges and anything else around this case in exchange for their cooperation in the investigation, because they're so clueless about the drug scene. They didn't know it existed.
Tells you right away. Literally. They have no idea what to do.
They had no clue that they didn't know that this existed, and they don't know how to infiltrate a whole drug underworld from scratch.
And they're hearing about Pablo Escobar in Colombia, and they are terrified
and they're looking
right now.
This is all you have to do is, if you watch the national news, it's going to be 45 people were gunned down in Miami today with machine guns in the street over cocaine. So they see this and they go, next thing you know, there's going to be machine guns everywhere shooting them a Puckerbrush. The whole festival's going to be
all over the con.
All over the con. So, yeah, not only did they give them all that immunity in exchange for their cooperation, they have been moved to an unknown location. They put them in they protected them.
Wow. They
gave two coke dealers, suppliers, fucking immunity and witness protection to testify.
And probably facilitated them on growing their fan base.
Not only that, we'll talk about it, but wait till the end. Okay, I'm telling you, there's so much here, dude. This is crazy, and it's about to get even crazier. So, they say, according to his friends, and they try to piece together Rob's last day, Rob spent his last day trying to round up $2,500 to $2,900. Not $1,000, $100. This is why I'm like,
$3,000.
You'd stab a 19-year-old girl and shoot a guy and drop him in a ditch for $2,900.
That's a lot.
That seems excessive.
The punishment doesn't fit the crime.
Well, it's $2,900.
Right.
So
unless you're trying to make a big fucking statement to everybody else that owes you money.
I guess it just seems like overkill. It just seems like overkill to me. Like that doesn't seem for $2,900.
But if you've got 20 people that owe you $2,900 and you take care of one of them, you're going to get the rest of that money back tomorrow.
Probably, yeah. But the girl, it just seems like a lot.
It doesn't fit the crime.
This doesn't seem like Iowa drug dealing. No. This is like, Medellin style shit here. We go in and kill everybody, wipe out families and shit. So, they said by the time it got to evening, he was still a few $100 short. He was working it up. He's got almost $2,000 at that point.
Any drug dealer will take that and be like, tomorrow, get the rest.
You're obviously working on it. He's going to come back tomorrow.
Thank you for making an effort. I'm going to fuck you up.
He's obviously scared.
Right.
So, yeah. And if he comes with 80% of it and goes,
it's a big deal.
Tomorrow I'll have the rest fucking first thing in the morning, but I got to hustle up tonight. You go, all right, asshole, and you take it. You wouldn't kill his wife.
No.
Then, No. Even if you decide, fuck that guy, it's the 10th time he's done it, I'm going to shoot him. Right. You wouldn't go butcher his wife in her bed. That's just weird.
You're 6 months behind on your car payment. You've got 80% of it and you're ready to pay that portion. They'll be like, all right, you're up to date.
People will work with you.
Yeah.
And that's,
We're going to have a chat tomorrow if you don't fucking pay more.
Yeah, exactly. A friend of his, or a coke buyer named John Humphrey, who's a guitarist from Mason City.
Yep.
He said, very professional.
Right.
He said, quote, he asked me if I had any money for him, but I said I didn't. He said it doesn't really matter because
bro, I'm a guitarist from Mason City. I don't have any money for you.
No, I played for free last night and every other night. He said it doesn't really matter because I'm going to get my legs broken anyway. That's what he says. So apparently these people are not going to be, I don't know we don't know how much he owed. Yeah. So we don't know if the $2,500 was like what he thought would placate these people into whatever. Maybe he owed, I don't know. So they can't figure it out. Yeah. They estimated that he sold, from what they figured out from his partner and everything, they figured out that Rob probably sold about $2,000 to $2,500 worth of cocaine every week. Okay. So he's small time, but I mean, it's something to supplement whatever.
He's moving $10,000 a month though. That's a lot.
I mean, I guess, but for coke back then, coke was expensive, especially in Iowa. Yeah. That was probably, that was probably not a lot of coke.
That was an 8-ball.
Yeah, that's probably really not. They said that he would give his his partner Trosper. He would get to stay at the house, and he also let the Trosper. He'd give him money and cocaine for use for exchange and helping his drug sales. They weren't really partners. Right. He kind of worked for Rob.
Little employee.
Yeah, he was like his kind of coke lackey, for lack of a better term. He says the coke lackey here, Trosper, quote, "I went to Iowa Falls with $750 to pick up an ounce of cocaine to take to Nebraska and sell." Ugh, that sounds awful.
Yeah.
On my way back, I was to stop in Iowa Falls and pay the suppliers some more money from what I sold in Nebraska. So Rob even had him going, now you do that, drop that off. On the way back, drop that fucking money off to those guys. I don't even want to see it. So I guess the $750 was applied to a past transaction, is what they said. And he and Johnson still owed the suppliers about $4,000. That's what his partner says.
Oh, God, this is why you don't do it.
This is a nightmare. And you're running around trying to, this is very third act of Goodfellas, where this
is horrifying.
Going to pick his brother up at the hospital and his tomato sauce and helicopters.
So much gambling.
It's a goddamn mess. So another guy here, a Jeffrey Pitkin, he's he goes to Iowa State University. He said he stopped at Rob's home the day before to pay him $150 because Rob had asked him to, because he said he owed him $150. This guy, Pitkin, says about Rob, quote, he mentioned that he was going to clean up his act. As soon as he collected his money, he was out of it. He said, quote, these guys don't fool around, and that they were going to break his legs. He said they'd broken legs before. So everybody that he's talked to, he says that he's getting out of this thing, and he's apparently scared of somebody enough to get out of the coke game, which is you got to be pretty scared because people go through a lot in that shit.
Also, he understands the value of legs.
That's the other thing. He's like, I need my fucking legs. Jesus Christ. How else am I going to farm? Can't get out in the field. So police hone in on a suspect. And this is I don't know, about 8 months later.
My Christ.
They find a guy that they like for it named Samuel Jerome Origer, or Origer. Sam Origer here. He's born in 1961, so he's around the same age as Rob, a little couple years older. I did some research on Origer here. I found out that he was a Cub Scout. I found he was a Cub Scout in 1972 in Pack 21 in Esterville, Iowa. So there's that.
Good.
He was definitely in the Cub Scouts.
You dug deep.
Found
the town.
Found it in the newspaper. It was in Esterville. That's where he's from.
Congratulations, you cubby.
Yeah, he's from Esterville.
Did he go any higher? Did he get?
I don't know. I couldn't find any information. I looked it up. Shit. I was like promotion, Eagle Scout, Boy Scout. I couldn't find it.
All right.
So he was only like 11 at that point. So whatever.
He may have been a Star Scout. Or something.
He was the best knot tire, best wife stabber out there. No, he didn't.
Real good with knives.
We don't know about that. So he's a known drug user and coke dealer. This Origer. In the Iowa Falls area for the Greeks. Now, much like the second season of The Wire, and from then on, second, third, fourth, and fifth, they get their supply from the Greeks. That's who they call. They're going to call the Greek. This one wants the Greek as the connection, and Marlowe, the whole plot of the drug plot is Marlowe trying, in the fifth season, is Marlowe trying to steal the drug connect, the Greeks, from Proposition Joe, so he can cut him out of the whole thing. And he can be the supplier of everybody. So he's some Machiavellian shit there. So anyway, there's the Greeks. The Greeks are Zois and Aris Sklavaka
Baklava.
Yeah, Slavika Baklava. That's the guy. Those are the Greeks, and he's the guy who said he called them and heard an unknown man, male voice that just said, I couldn't recognize it.
He started the whole fucking thing on the wrong path.
Super weird, right?
You clever son of a bitch.
Yeah, they find out that that Johnson would receive weekly shipments of coke from the Greeks and then distribute the coke to lower level dealers and blah 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 blah. Now, this is who Sam works for. Sam works for these guys. Sam, like we said, is born 1961 in Esterville. He went to school in Esterville. Before he graduates high school, doesn't graduate high school, he joins the Marine Corps at 17 in 1978.
Shit.
Why the Marines? Before he end up high school? Well, when you get arrested for fifth-degree theft and driving while barred, and you're already a habitual offender at age 17.
Wow.
A lot of times a judge will say, back then, here's what you can do. I'm going to put you in fucking jail for 6 months, or you can join the goddamn Marines or the military.
They'll straighten you out.
That's what judges used to do that all the time, and that would be an out, and guys would do it.
And he did it,
especially back then because they needed people in the late 70s was not a big time to
wasn't
sign
popular.
up. Vietnam had ended a couple of years.
Patriotism had dwindled.
Watergate. Everyone's like, I'm not fighting for shit.
Don't trust these fuckers.
Exactly. So to join the Marines was you had to really want that. So that's why possibly he joins the Marines. He's in the Marines for 4 years. He earns an honorable discharge from the Marines in 1982. With the rank of number two private first class. He comes back to Iowa, finishes high school, graduates.
So he did fucking nothing.
No.
In the Marines.
No, he did nothing.
Because that's fucking nothing.
He hung around.
He
hung around.
He didn't get kicked out. That's what he did.
Yeah, he got honorably discharged. Right. Good for him. Which means he doesn't have to go to jail now.
Didn't fucking move up at all.
No,
fucking idiot.
No, this guy's got a couple issues here. And we'll talk about. He was doing other things. He had other concerns while he was in the Marines other than moving up the ladder or chain or whatever the fuck it is here. He finishes high school in 1982. And he ends up marrying a woman, a lady named Karen Myers, in July of 1983, and they have a young daughter named Leah, blah, 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 okay? It's sometime in here that he's also busted for controlled substances a couple times, 2 different times. One, he's given a 2-year suspended sentence and a $500 fine and that sort of thing too. And another one was dismissed eventually. So gets busted a couple times. Also, in the early 80s, a domestic assault on his wife.
God damn.
Where he does 2 days in jail for this, and it'll come up later where he allegedly put her head through a window.
Oh, you piece of shit.
So, this guy, you're going to have mixed emotions here as we go through it because he's not a good guy.
No.
But keep listening. Okay. It's a weird one. So, basically, Oehringer used to work at the Winnebago plant.
Yeah.
Like everybody else. This is, I'm a coke dealer for the Greeks. I put Winnebagos together, of course, on the side, too. I mean, I'm not fucking crazy. Everybody puts Winnebagos together.
Taillight guy.
Come on. I'm a taillight guy from way back. My dad was a taillight guy. His dad was a taillight guy. We're a taillight family. My son is going to be a taillight man. I'm going to teach him.
He might even one-up me and figure out that little blinky bulb.
Oh, he's going to figure it out. He's going to do it.
Get right into that turn signal.
I don't know. I mean, he's a smart kid. If he could move up the ladder to like the turn signal department, I mean, who knows? Fingers crossed. I mean, we have the Oehringer. We haven't been able to conquer that, but he's a smart kid. By the way,
you've been telling me about this thing called the LED. I think he's fucking crazy.
He's full of shit. This kid.
You never know.
I don't know. The kids are crazy. They might be onto something. What do I know? You know what I mean? Who knows? Yeah. So the police investigate and they find out that he was on sick leave at the time of the murders. Yeah. So they're like, okay, he wasn't working because they're like, well, let's see if he was at work that day. Maybe this is an easy clear up. You know, he's at work from 2 to 10 on that night. Well, it's not him.
Right.
You know, so that's something like that. But they find out from some wranglings and some investigating on February 9th, that afternoon, the afternoon that their last afternoon, Rob and Jennifer, Rob went to see Sam at his apartment, Sam's apartment. Okay. Apparently, he had given Oehringer some cocaine before, and he was demanding that Oehringer pay his bill because he needed the fucking money to pay the Greeks. And he's like, dude, I need my fucking money. Oehringer said, I don't have shit for you. I got nothing for you, homie. Sorry. Got shit for you. Johnson, Rob, at this point, tells Oehringer that he's supposed to meet with the Greeks that evening and pay them for a bunch of cocaine that they fronted him, and he needs about $3,000 more. And I need your fucking money. I got to pay these guys this. I need $3,000 more. They expect the money tonight. You know these guys are serious. Right. Also, Johnson made statements to him saying that the Greeks, or not to him, to other people, that the Greeks had an enforcer who broke legs and all that shit. So, you know, it's in the air. Everybody knows about it. So then Rob leaves Sam's apartment, and apparently they had arranged to meet later that day where Oehringer would have money for him, would have his cocaine money for him later on in the day. So at that point, Oehringer goes out, according to him, goes out to try to sell some of the cocaine that he has to raise money to pay his debt off. So it's a chain of people trying to quickly raise money to pay their debt back up the ladder. Sounds so stressful, dude.
It's like the movie Used Cars or something.
Yeah, it's so stressful.
It's Geekin' 2 Iowa Boogaloo.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's gacked out losers that are trying to pay off their gack bill.
That's
before the city comes and forecloses on their gack.
Forecloses on it. It's true, though.
That's what it is.
They're just going up the ladder, up the ladder. It's fucking, that's why I get mad when people say that, you know, drug dealers, why can't they get a job? That's lazy. This is way harder than whatever you do.
Oh, God.
Whatever you do isn't this stressful.
No.
Unless you're like one of these commodities traders that's in a pit with a piece of paper yelling at people. That looks really stressful. Otherwise, this is way more stressful. Because this is that, except you're screaming constantly. It's the same thing.
Yeah, the threat of some enforcer coming and breaking your kneecaps because you didn't finish the TPS reports.
No, never. Your time card's fucked up, Chief. Telescopic baton at your kneecap. Never once happens. That's my point.
How many times we told you about the time card?
Yeah. This is the same. Drug dealers are lazy is the same response. I get the same level of eye roll as I get when people say, well, women can't be president with their emotions. And you go, Jimmy's cousin pumped milk out of her tit for 3.5 hours while driving in the fucking rain and keeping what she pumped in a fucking cooler she had on the goddamn passenger seat.
Without pulling over.
Wow. That's impressive. That's multitasking. That's great. You can do that. You got my vote because I would just say my tits hurt. I'm staying home. That's what you were saying. You're like, my tits hurt. I'm staying home.
I'm not gonna fucking drive with this shit. It hurts.
I got stuff coming out. I'm gonna be out of commission for about 6-8 months.
I love you, Jimmy. I'm in pain.
This is what I'm saying. So coke dealers are not lazy. So this is.
Great work, Shannon.
Yeah, Shannon was awesome. I couldn't believe that. It's like, this is a fucking, that's amazing.
Don't tell me. That's what you said. Don't tell me women can't be president.
As soon as she said that, I was like, wow. So I never want to hear that again, man, because that was amazing. That was fucking awesome.
Not only do I never want you to do it again, I never want you to tell me that.
And she had just had a kid, too.
Like 3 weeks ago.
Oh, my God. I'd still be like, that's still too fucked up to travel. Now I got stuff coming out of my tits. I am never leaving the house ever again.
You know, I didn't ask how it may have been a C-section.
Even worse.
I know.
Cut all her.
That's my point.
6 months.
Yeah.
I'm not coming out of the house for 6 months if this happens to me.
She may have C-section driven breast pumping
God, with a cooler
for 3 hours.
Like a fucking monster,
Icing
like
it down.
a rock star. That's incredible. Wow. So
shaking it so it doesn't separate.
Amazing.
What a mom.
That's what I'm talking about. So so apparently they had returned to their home that Saturday. That's Rob and Jennifer returned home that Saturday. That's without dispute because people called them at the house and they were there. No one saw or heard from them after 6:30. We told you about with the babysitter lady, except for Zoe Slavica Baklava. He called at 7:15, like we said a male voice answered the phone. He says when they talked to him that he was unable to identify the voice conclusively, but he said it resembled a person he knew as Bubba.
Oh, bye.
So there's Bubba.
And in Iowa, how many exist?
Well, it's a nickname for a guy named Terry ensues.
Yeah.
EENHUIS.
Oh, boy.
E is how you start your last name? Really? Get the fuck out of here with that. EE. No.
Double E beginning? Nope.
No, sorry.
There shouldn't be a word on earth that starts that way.
Listen, asshole, you take Aaron with you and fuck off, okay? Why does Aaron have 2 A's? And why does Lloyd have 2 L's? What is happening? One's enough. It's an L. We know what it is. What do you have to... Lloyd.
And llamas, too.
Yeah. One L is fine. Plenty. We get the idea. Jesus Christ. So, anyway... 9 months after the murders here, they finally they hone in on Origer as the guy, and finally on December 24th, Christmas Eve, 1985, authorities get a search warrant and they stake out Origer's residence here. They follow him when he leaves his apartment and they arrest him at a gas station, which seems like more drama than needed.
Yeah.
He didn't resist arrest. He wasn't armed. He was just like, oh, all right, sure, yeah, cuff me. Like, you could have done this in my front yard.
Right.
You really didn't need to have all this going on. But for them, it's exciting.
Right.
You know, this is hey, we're going to round.
I see what you guys
They got
here.
dogs on leashes barking. He's just like, yeah, it's cool, dude. Just cuff me up.
I see what you're making a big show. Looks great. You guys did great.
Oh, wow, this is
you
good.
Got cameras?
It's going to be on the news, isn't it?
Oh, you got cameras.
So the town...
Take a picture of this wasted fucking taxpayers' money.
Look at that helicopter. You know how much fuel for that fucking thing costs? A lot.
Guess who's not running? Let's go for a ride.
Yep.
Can you take me in that?
Cool. It's already
up.
You're already wasting gas. So the town freaks out about this whole thing because they didn't even know there was coke or anything else in this town. People were like, oh, there's a nice farm town, and now they're finding out about fucking,
Greeks. We didn't even know there were Greeks.
No, they say networks of Greek drug dealers who are breaking legs all over town.
This is crazy.
Killing teenage girls in their beds, literally. So the town said that at that point you have to consider 84. Right now, coke is like anybody could do coke or whatever. Yeah. But back then, 84, coke was for fancy people.
Yeah.
Coke was for people in New York
or
and LA
stars.
and Miami and Dallas down there. They're doing coke.
It's crazy people.
Rock stars do coke and actors do coke. And in this paper, because I got a clip from the Des Moines Register here, where it says the town, quote, and this is a fact, you can see that is copied directly. They learned that cocaine, the substance associated with affluent jet setters, the socially chic and the metropolitan affluent, has made its way out of Beverly Hills, Manhattan, and Aspen to sleepy county seat towns in Iowa like Forest City, Iowa Falls, and Hampton.
Oh, boy.
Talk about the dripping.
Yeah.
It's just dripping thick honey out of that pen. That's disgusting. Ugh.
That's a hell of a writer.
He really
Beverly Hills, Aspen.
This guy's like, he's a novelist. He's like, I'm doing this for now, but I'm working on a novel.
One of
on
these
the side.
days, get the fuck out of this town.
He's like Chevy Chase in Funny Farm. It's a casino heist film, a novel. It's pretty good.
Bunch of squirrels.
Yeah, a bunch of squirrels.
One of these days, I'm gonna be able to afford coke.
Oh boy. So, Iowa Falls Police Chief Dennis Hawkins said the cocaine trend is changing and it's doing it very rapidly. The caliber of people using it is not just the upper middle class and above like it used to be. The Po folks are getting into it now. Yeah. Workers, it turns out workers at the Winnebago plant in Forest City were the bulk of Johnson's customers. So if you got a Winnebago that's like an 84 and it's fucked up and you're like, why is none of this wiring connected? Everyone was on coke. That's why. They were all on fucking cocaine from this asshole.
You wonder why there's a bunch of recalls?
They're all on coke. Either that or they put out more than ever that year and they were fucking great.
Cheap as fuck.
I feel like they were put out faster and worse than ever before. We're done. They're like, this has 3 wheels. This is not enough. What are you doing?
Every screw is still loose.
What are you doing?
It doesn't even have any rivets.
The steering wheel just comes right off. You have to... What is happening?
You got to put bulbs in it.
This is not going to work at all. Jesus Christ. After the murders, though, the factory's security manager, Barry Bendixson, he said that the murders, he thinks it frightened a lot of the people at the plant into quitting drugs. Yeah. They don't do it anymore now. They're good now. He says, quote, they suddenly realized that it was not just a recreational thing, that it could be addictive or, as in this case, life-threatening. This was still in the period where people didn't know coke was really addictive.
Really?
In the late 70s, early 80s, that was one of the things that people would say when they had coke.
You can
it's
put anything
magic,
you want.
it's amazing, and it's not even addictive. That was the thing, the
advertising campaign.
Yeah. That's what I mean. People who did it and were into it knew better. Yeah. They knew they couldn't stop.
Because they're fucking addicted.
Yeah, but that was kind of just the word going around, especially in rural areas where people had less experience with it.
The magic part wasn't a lie.
It's magic, and it's not even it's that's why it's magic.
Right.
This is literally magic powder. Right. It's amazing. So, he's not just life-threatening.
Because that beginning part checked out, the second part, whatever.
Whatever, it's fine. It's all right.
It's still fucking magic.
It's still magic. So this is going to get even weirder here because there's a lot to unpack. Now, the prosecutor says he will not comment on motive until he just comments on motive in the same sentence that he says he's not going to. They say that they could not comment on the motive. Then they say drugs could have played a role in the crime, though. Yeah. They say that drugs are a central issue in these murder investigations. Then, in the same breath as saying, I can't speculate on a motive, he says, quote, she was probably killed for what she knew, which is a huge speculation.
Wow.
That didn't even, to say she might have been killed because of the drug trade, that's not a big jump. To say she was probably killed for what she knew is a very specific speculation of what you said.
And that's scarier than drug trade.
Very scary,
because there's a lot of people in this town that know something about drug trade.
A lot about everything.
And they're now all afraid that their wives are going to get knifed up.
All of them. So, the prosecutor said that Oehringer was an acquaintance of the couple. He'd moved in this area recently. He, at this point, has been separated from his wife, who lives somewhere else, and Oehringer has a child, like we mentioned, a daughter, and he's being held on $100,000 bond for 2 counts of first-degree murder, which seems
low.
Really low for that.
Excessively low.
I mean, he might not have shit, but still, that's
still seems like bargain
basement. Slap $1 million on him and fucking call it a day.
It's bargain basement bail for double murder.
It's a double murder. One's not even a drug thing. One is literally a teenage girl naked in her bed.
Right.
You know? Let's hold it.
Can you clear $100,000?
Is anybody going to be like, hey, that's excessive? He should be able to get out. I don't think so.
No.
His alibi here, he says that his wife and daughter, he was with his wife and daughter driving to Esterville from Wesley, where they lived at the time, at the time of the murders. He said his parents, John and Marion Oehringer, they said that he was there too. He was at their house. Mm-hmm. They said they got there. They arrived at their home between 7 and 7:30. They said the mother, she says, quote, this is Marion Oehringer, as far as I'm concerned, Sam is innocent. Sam was here with us the night this happened. The night this supposedly happened.
Oh boy.
Now, it definitely happened. That's not the supposed part. This night he supposedly did it would have been a better way to put it, but whatever.
And the other point is she's definitely dead. We know when she's dead.
Yeah, we know that.
And the other guy, we know he's dead before her. We know when it happened.
There's nothing supposed
There's no supposed
here.
At all.
Now, he ends up getting a court-appointed attorney saying he couldn't pay for his own counsel. Winnebago has since fired him. You know, they have a policy against first-degree murder. They're picky. Picky HR department.
Sticklers on it.
Sticklers, that's it.
No tolerance.
Zero tolerance for first-degree murder. It's weird. weird. Now, at the trial here, this is when it really goes crazy, because this is all so fucking messy, unexpected, and just, this is one of those things where it's small town murder, and it's the small townness of it and the inexperience in cases like this for everybody involved comes to the surface, and it's a mess. So at the trial, and you'll see. Wow.
All right.
At the trial, two of Oehriger's friends testified that Oehriger personally told them that he killed Rob Johnson.
Oh, boy.
Okay. He said, no, he told me I killed Rob Johnson.
Two people said that.
Two people. Now, on cross-examination, both witnesses said that they were both drunk and high at the time of the conversation.
Okay.
That everybody was.
That ruins everything.
So, yeah, that makes the jury go, well, you can't possibly remember a conversation if you were high, because the jury's a bunch of probably older Iowans who've never been on any drugs at all, and they don't know that you still remember shit, but whatever.
The other part is if a dude's drunk and high and just starts babbling shit, I don't believe much of it.
It could be shit, especially if it's coke talk. People
it's rarely credible.
Get out of talking jag on the coke, and
sometimes it's super credible.
Sometimes they go, sometimes they open the vault, and sometimes they're just,
oh boy, this is all true.
Yeah, sometimes they're like, I went to Mars when I was 12, and you're like, fuck out of here, dude. What are you talking about?
You ride a fucking saddle at a bar up there?
I rode a Wyoming bar saddle right on up there. So they also introduced testimony, the state does, from a guy named Todd Behrens. Behrens is a high school student that had been staying with Oehriger's parents from May to August of 1985. I have no idea why. Okay. Doesn't matter. I saw a look on your face like, what the fuck is he?
That's fucked up.
I don't know.
That's a shit situation.
Yeah, something's wrong there with his family. He testifies that Oehriger told him that he had killed two people in connection with a drug deal while he was in the Marines in California. So he's saying that, you know, I don't know anything about this, but he told me in confidence that, you know, when he was in the Marines, he killed two people in connection with a drug deal. Okay. So they're trying to put this in as, it's amazing that they allowed that testimony, number one, because it's so vague and whatever.
It's not just vague, it's fucking putting it entirely out of the realm of capability of this one. But
you're also putting it in where he killed two people in a drug thing. So that frames it as that's what he's done. It doesn't, none of the other shit matters to the prosecutor. They're just trying to put in these scared old Iowans fucking heads that this is a bad, scary drug man like you've seen on the Miami Vice show on the TV. You know what I mean? That's what they're trying to say.
You know those brown men on TV? Sometimes they're not brown.
See him? So Oehriger does not testify. He does present alibi witnesses. They testify that he was at his parents' house the night of the murder. His wife claimed that she and him and their child left home about 6 p.m. He was there the whole time with them. Then they left at 6. They stopped in Algona for dinner and arrived in Esterville between 7 and 8 o'clock. During their visit, Oehriger's mother did Sam's taxes for him. And it's March, or it's February, which seems early to do taxes. February 9th.
Never too early.
I feel like this guy's not like I'm going to get ahead of my taxes type of guy.
I don't know. You get
coke people usually aren't like, let's get ahead of my taxes, unless they're really on coke and it's 4 a.m. They're like, you know what I'm going to do? My taxes, and it's like fucking November.
This guy's got one W-2. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
you can do it right away.
It's fine.
Super fast.
Super easy.
Yeah.
And his father and brother helped install a new carburetor in his car because I guess his car was giving him trouble. And he also gave his mother money, Sam does, to pay some bills for him because his checking account is closed. So he says, if I give you money, will you put it in your bank account and pay my and send a check in to this bill that I have?
He's how old?
24.
You gotta
get a fucking checking account
and be a man.
You have a
fucking stop relying on.
You have
mom,
a wife
bro.
and child.
Yeah.
I mean, he's giving her the money to do it. He's not saying, can you pay out of your own money? But he's still like, get your own bank account.
You're a veteran. Get the fuck to work.
That's what I mean too.
Jesus.
It's ridiculous.
Oh my God.
You're a Marine, sir.
Barely.
But 4 years in the Marines, you did something, man. That's something. I don't care. He made it.
He didn't fucking accelerate.
He wasn't a fucking general, but
he didn't take advantage of it.
He took it.
He went through it.
He went through it. More than I fucking do.
More than I did.
That's all I got to say. So apparently, she says they stayed in Esterville until late the next day. So I mean, they were there. That's it. That's what everybody says. His whole family says he was with them. During the cross-examination, though, the prosecutor comes up and doesn't ask about where were you that night. He says, quote, "Is your husband a nice, peaceful man?"
Oh boy.
And she says, "Sometimes." Which is,
oh god damn it, you.
That's an amazing.
Bitch.
He's sitting there going, "You fuck." Sometimes.
Do you want me to come home or not?
She is under oath.
Yeah.
Sometimes he says, the prosecutor says, has he ever injured you?
Uh-oh.
She says, yes. He says, smashed your head through a window once, didn't he?
God damn it. I quit. I'm going home.
She says, yes. So at that point, now they've painted a guy who says he killed 2 people in a drug trade there. He's capable of hurting a woman, even a woman who's his wife and mother of his child. He's capable of putting her head through fucking glass. They're painting a picture of this guy, but not with evidence of actual crime of this crime.
It's all right.
If you're going to trial, if the jury's job is to come up with whether he's a good person or not, fine. But that's not their job.
If they're trying to figure out,
asshole?
Is his character flawed?
Yeah.
Sure in the fuck is. But he knows it.
The jury finds the defendant an asshole. Everyone can leave now. That doesn't happen. Hold on. That doesn't happen. See, I got a gavel.
All murderers are assholes, but not all assholes are murderers.
That's the thing.
Right.
It's like a rhombus in a square, Jimmy.
Right. You get it?
Yes. So what the fuck? Oh, God. So anyway,
it's gangsters and Raiders fans.
That's what it is. Chicken and the fucking egg. Oh, God. Now I want to watch Winnebago Man so bad.
I can't wait. I'm going to find
Jimmy,
it.
you're going to...
I'm going to lose my mind. I can't wait. And James,
amazing.
the best part is that you're thinking about how great this thing is. I get to discover it for the first time.
I know. I'm so jealous.
The excitement and vigor.
Where do you see his rage? You're going to go, oh, God, that's going to be James in 20 years, making a video yelling at people and screaming and throwing shit.
Unbelievable.
The angriest man ever.
I can't wait.
So circumstantial evidence here. That's what they're trying to figure out. Now, this is the evidence that connects them to the crime. If we make a list of it, which I've done here.
Okay.
Oreger knew Rob Johnson.
Okay,
that's a fact.
That's
you
a
have
thing.
to know who he is to kill him,
Right.
obviously. Well, he could have shot him in the back of the head unknown, but
it's true.
It helps to know.
Right.
Rob had been in Oreger's home earlier that day.
Okay.
There's that. Apparently at 10:22 a.m., there was a 1-minute phone call from the Johnson residence to Oreger's residence, which to me just says that...
Are you home? I'm coming over. We got to talk.
Yeah, I'll be over in a little bit.
Right.
Cool. All right.
I'm not talking to you on the phone about this.
That's it. So
Face to face,
that to me, those two go together, and it's fine. There's nothing weird about it. It's not. If it was 10:22 p.m., I'd say now we got an issue. Right. Also, Oreger was selling coke that he got from Rob, so he was his supplier. Now, another thing here: a woman named Crystal Deal. She testifies that she saw a car with 4 round headlights pull into her driveway between 6 and 9 p.m. Okay. On that Saturday night, February 9th. The car headed south. She said the car slowed or stopped for a short time on the east side of the road south of her house. Her husband said the taillights were rectangular.
Pontiac Tempest.
So it's a Pontiac, it's a 63 Pontiac Tempest. Metallic mint green. So... now think about it. 4 round headlights, square to rectangular. All I can think of from that era is those old Beamers from that era had those. But there's several cars that have that. We'll talk about.
It could be. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
It could be an old fucking. It could be a '63 Tempest for Christ. You know what I mean?
We don't know.
An old fucking Cadillac.
We don't know.
It could be anything.
From any time period.
Right.
Now, where Rob's body was found is just south of these people's house. That's why that's important. So they think that might have been the dump car.
Got it.
Basically, and they find that Sam Oreger has a car with 4 round headlights and rectangular
son of a bitch
taillights. Now, also, Rob knew these deals that people who saw the car, Rob knew those people, or not Rob, Sam Oreger knew those people, had been to that place many times, was very familiar with the area, and knows these people, and the body was at the edge of their property, not on their property, at the edge of, which makes, if I was going to dump somebody, it would be in a familiar place, but not like on my friend's property, but over on the side. It makes sense if you're stupid and coked up. So also, gunpowder residue was found on the passenger side of his car. Gunpowder residue on the door and the upholstery, passenger side of the car. Okay. But the prosecution's theory is that he was killed in the car. In the car, 4 shots to the head.
That's a mess.
All they find is gunpowder residue. No
way.
Brain matter, no skull, no blood, not a drop of blood they find in there, which is completely impossible, but that's their theory of it. Otherwise, they're saying he pulled up and then reached over to the passenger seat while the guy was outside and shot him 4 times in the back of the head from a fucking car below.
First of all, still standing?
The angle would be, you would know that angle. That's unlikely, basically. There was cash in the Johnson house on Saturday afternoon that he was building up, and Sam had cash to give his mom to pay bills that night.
Okay.
So they're saying that also, and later on in the weekend. Now they're saying that there's the state says that there's evidence that Rob and Jennifer were killed at the same time, which there's a lot of evidence that says they're not. They weren't killed at the same time as well. And there's also, they said, the prosecution says you can make a fair inference that the person who killed one must have killed them both, right? Maybe. Okay. Or one took one way and one said, I'm going to stay here with, who knows? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is what the state argues this. The state talks about it. They say that Jennifer Johnson was planning to stay home and do laundry that night. There was no house key on Rob Johnson's body when it was found. So they're saying maybe they took him, killed him, took his house key, came back, went in the house while she was asleep and killed her.
Oh, damn it.
That's the theory of that. Also, they say Sam always kept a buck knife in his car, but now they can't find the buck knife. But how many people in rural Iowa have knives in their car?
Jesus.
Everybody, probably. Literally everybody.
A buck knife? That's Jesus.
They all have that on their belt, probably, over there. So, especially in the 80s. He also finds that the state argues that after killing Rob and dumping the body, they said he took the house key from his body, went back, let himself in. They said their theory, he either let himself in or was let in by Jennifer. Well, unless they were fucking, which we know they weren't, she would not have let him in while nude.
No.
Or she wouldn't have let him in and said, okay, cool, I'm going to go get nude and lay in bed.
Right.
That wouldn't have happened.
I'm going to go do laundry.
That's a break-in.
Fucking all of it.
Yeah. I need to get everything done.
Right.
Even when I want to wear this tomorrow. Jesus. Wear it again. So they said that they think that he stabbed her to death, maybe using the buck knife that he carried in his car. They said that he killed her out of fear she'd be able to connect him to Rob's murder if she was alive. That's what they're talking about. They do a time frame here where they say 11 a.m. is where he had friends over. Rob did at noon. That's when Rob and Jennifer came to Origer's house, which would make sense from the phone call at 10 something, and then someone came over to their house at 11, and then they went over to his house. So that made perfect sense. Another friend came over their house at 1 o'clock, the Johnsons. So he's got people coming and going all day. Another friend saw them at 1:30 at their house. Between 4 and 5, another friend named John stopped at the Johnson residence and found Rob and Jennifer eating supper between 4 and 5. Yeah. So even if that was 5, by the time that phone call came in at 7:30, they're dead.
Yeah.
Because that's not. They said it wasn't 2 hours after they ate that they died. So that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? So that phone call was either, I don't know how that worked out, but something is up with that. They would have been dead by that phone call.
The time frame is weird.
Yeah, that's 6:30 time. Right. That seems like they were don't come over the house. Seems like there was some shit going on.
Something happening.
By 7:30, they're fucking dead though. Yeah, both of them. So 5:30, another friend saw them. Between 6 and 9 is that night is when the car with the 4-round headlights, rectangular taillights, are seen by the Deal house, 6.5 miles from the Johnson house. At 6:30 is when the Holly Steckel, who's the babysitter, talked to Rob about babysitting and was told not to come to the house and all of that. 6:40, there's a call from the Johnson residence to Mason City. So they're still alive at 6:40 there. Rob called Billy Nichols, one of his friends there. At 7:10, Marjorie Hall drove by the Johnson home and saw 4 cars in the house, and that was all lit up with lights. So 7:10. This is right around murder time. Prime murder time. There's 4 cars there,
and every light in the house burning.
And every light in the house is on. So there's people to fuck over at that point. 7:15. That's when allegedly the call was answered by an unidentified man at Rob's house, which might have been, I don't know, if I was ordering a murder, you maybe call to see if it got done or not.
How'd it go?
No cell phone. You know what I'm saying? Who knows? I'm not accusing anybody, but I'm just putting it out there. 7:30. 1:30, one of their friends drove by the Johnson home and saw 2 cars there, not 4.
Yeah.
Now there's 2. Neither of them were Ohriger's car. Okay, that's another thing. They asked her if that car matched. Neither of them matched that. Another one here, 8:30, friend of his who was there earlier in the afternoon, a friend of Rob's, and his girlfriend returned to the Johnson home. The house is locked up and the lights and TV are on, but no one will answer the door. No one's home.
Okay.
That's at 8:30.
Okay.
So it's locked up. So we know it's locked here. At this point, a couple of their friends, a little after that, people are coming over every 10 minutes.
Crazy.
At like 8.
How did a murder happen?
That's what I mean.
Wow.
There's people stopping by all the time. Fuck, man. At like 8:40, another couple friends stopped by their house. They say the downstairs light was on and no one was home, but one of the people said that they saw a shadow behind the kitchen drape, like someone was in there hiding, but not coming out. So they didn't know if they were just not wanting to answer the door or what, but someone was home.
Oh, God, that's so creepy.
Creepy as shit.
God, Jesus, I'm shuddering.
It's so gross,
That's
right?
Fucking awful.
Yeah, it's horrible here. So then after that, they assume sometime in there was the death. You got to shake that one off, right?
Fuck. Yeah, that's so creepy.
Hiding behind the farmhouse door
There's
after they
somebody
murdered a woman in their house.
and there's possibly a woman bleeding out right now.
Absolutely, from a heart wound.
God, fuck.
Now, also, they say that Sam made admissions to 2 people about shooting Rob. One of these people testified here. This is a Dean Youngworth, totally different person. Yeah. He just talks a lot, this Sam. He's testified here about statements made by Sam before Rob's body was found. So after Jennifer's body's found, well, they're still looking for Rob, and they don't know what happened. He said, apparently, Sam told this Dean Youngworth that he had a secret. And he had to tell him a secret. Oh, God. And so the prosecutor, this is the Q&A in court, he asked this Dean Youngworth.
He's like, oh, my God, he's going to tell me he loves me.
Oh, he's going to tell me he's gay. Shit. God damn it. I was worried about this.
He just murdered somebody? All right, we'll still be friends.
He is pretty handsome. He's a handsome man. I'm not going to lie. Handsome man. So they said, what did the defendant tell you the secret was? And he says, Youngworth said, the secret was the killings in Forest City, he said. Rob Johnson and Jennifer Johnson came up right off the bat, and he looked me straight in the eye and said that he shot Rob.
And I was I am so glad that we can still be friends.
Thank you. Jesus Christ. I mean, I was kind of looking forward to you jerking me off. I ain't going to lie. You're a pretty man with a sparkle in your eye, and my Puckerbrush is puckered. This is ready to go. So they said, just tell the jury the conversation. Tell the jury what Sam told you that night. And he said, quote, this is Youngworth, my next question to Sam was, after he says, yeah, I shot Rob, he said, Rob came in gun crazy and I had no choice, Dean. I had to shoot him. But what did you do with his body? I said. And he says, well, it won't be found for a long time. And that's all I can tell you. And I says, well, then who killed Jennifer? And he says, I don't know. So even then he said he didn't kill Jennifer to his friend. He said he shot Rob. He said Rob, got all crazy. I had to shoot him. No choice. But I don't know who the hell killed Jennifer.
You won't find him for a long time. You dumped him on the side of a road, man.
Side of the ditch. Which they didn't find him for a month.
Yeah, but that's not a long time.
No one, but if utility people didn't have to work on a line, they wouldn't. No one would have found him for a long time, probably. Now, another one, Michael Hudson, he testifies about statements made by Sam. He says, this is the question to him. Well, what started the conversation about Jennifer and Rob Johnson's death? And he says, I believe he brought it up, talking about Sam. They said, what did you do? This is the guy says, he said he went to their house, found the guy outside, and it was a mess. They said, what did Mr. Ohriger tell you that he did? He said he found the man outside and put him out of his misery. That's what he said. The question is, did he tell you how he put him out of his misery? Yes, he said he shot him. Did he say where he shot him? What part of the body? In the head. So that's that. So it seems like he told a lot of people that he shot Rob Johnson in the fucking head. Yeah. But he's denying killing Jennifer. So they also asked whether Ohriger had ever told other people that on the stand, they just started, ever told you he's killed anybody? And then people were like, yeah, shit, yeah. The people in California. He's talking about killing people all over the place. Then, on cross-examination, the defense talks to the teenager in the house that said that the California murders and the Marines there. He says he gets further details that said that Ohriger told Behrens that he killed 2 people. It occurred while he was in the Marines. He shot them with a gun, and that he was paid for the murders, and the murders were related to cocaine. That's, gets all this information out of him here. So this is interesting. They're trying to basically, that's the defense who's doing this. Yeah. Their strategy is probably the dumbest legal strategy I've ever heard in my life, but they're like, it's so crazy, it just might work. It's one of those. Their strategy is to get as many people on there as possible to say that Sam brags about killing people that he doesn't kill. Right. That he's all talk. Right. That's his thing. So he's going to get people. See how many people he tells he murders people? Which isn't the right approach.
Terrible.
That is an awful legal that is a bad strategy. Yeah. I'm not an attorney. I'm not. I know nothing about this shit. I know that if my lawyer said this is a strategy, I'd go, you're fucking fired. Get out of here. Not even we can work it out. You're an idiot, and I don't want you on my team. You fucking stupid.
We're just going to tell him I admit willy-nilly to murdering people? Yeah. Are you in your fucking mind?
Johnny Cochran getting Cato on there. So OJ just wielding knives all the time, right? Just all the time wielding knives.
That's his thing?
Willy-nilly, right? Just especially when Jewish lawyers and white ladies are around, he just wields them, right? That's what happens. Or Jewish waiters and... That's what I meant to say. Jewish waiters and blonde ladies around, he just swings knives around, right? He doesn't mean nothing by it. This is what he does.
We're just going to say that I just admit to murder. What else? What's next? We going to Wyoming to sit on fucking saddle bar stools?
What is
that your idea?
What are you going to do? Lick my Puckerbrush? What's happening?
We go camping now?
We going camping? Is that what I have to do? Jeez. So the defense argues that there's no evidence placing him in the residence, no evidence tying him to the Johnson home, no fingerprints, no evidence of the percentage of cars having round taillights and rectangular headlights. The prosecution didn't say that's only 2% of cars, and in Iowa City there's only 12, or Forest City there's only 12 registered cars by that. That would have been helpful if you could narrow it like that.
Well, you know how many are here for these just sheer population and opportunity to be able to see that fucking car.
That's what I'm saying.
But if there's a shitload of them, let's talk about that too.
Yeah, well, that means nothing then. There's no evidence of the type of knife used here at all, so they don't know exactly what it is to even relate it to this buck knife that doesn't exist anymore. Right. The state's contention was that Rob was shot in Sam's car, and other than gunpowder residue, there's no other evidence that a person was shot in there. No blood, despite a thorough examination, because they really wanted to find that shit.
You find blood, it's a Yahtzee.
They were looking for it, and they couldn't find it.
This police force sucks.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say, they blow at this point. Yeah, they
really were overwhelmed when they saw this one. Oh, this is never
on their heels.
What are we going to do now?
They're on their fucking heels. Oh boy,
they're the Browns every Sunday.
Yeah, they're playing prevent defense here the whole time. The whole time.
Oh, boy, we are ill prepared.
So the defense argues that they established a strong alibi. Mm-hmm. There's no physical evidence or really any other evidence other than him telling a teenager about some thing and some other drug talk with people that were high and drunk. That's your only evidence. No physical, no barely circumstantial here. So that's their argument. He was 70 miles from Forest City in Esterville with his mom and his whole family. They also get other defense witnesses to testify that they had been, quote, road hunting from Sam's car before, where they go when it's cold, they'll drive in a car looking for shit and shoot it out the window, which is just fucking lazy. Lazy hunting.
You gotta hunt and actually eat.
You gotta get out there in the cold.
Fucking do it.
Get out there in the cold. I'm mad the deer aren't armed to themselves, but you at least gotta get out in the cold with them, for Christ's sake. Jesus, make it worth it. Don't let them die for nothing.
Put on a coat, pussy.
Yeah. So they said they've been road hunting before, and they said that would explain the gunpowder residue, because this gunpowder residue in a car would last up to 2 years, they said, in the upholstery, because it would get in the upholstery. So this could be from, quote, road hunting a year ago.
Oh, my God.
There. So 1986 in May, finally, more than a year after these murders, the verdict comes in. There's a verdict. Now there's 2 counts, one for each person of first-degree murder, and they find him guilty of both.
Oh, my Christ.
First-degree murder, guilty of both.
Wow.
Which is a little...
He has to be stunned.
There is no evidence that he went anywhere near Jennifer.
No.
None. I could see the Rob thing, because he told someone how he said, I met him outside. He got a little crazy. Right. I had to shoot him. There's nothing I could do. That you could put in and say, I'm going to believe that.
Still zero physical evidence.
There's no evidence of it. Nothing corroborating it other than than some teenager who lives in his parents' house. So we don't know what fucking problems he has.
A road hunter maybe can hit his friend 4 times in the head before he hits the ground.
I'm saying, I think that's true. So it's still, so Rob, Jennifer, they have not a lick of evidence other than whoever killed Rob must have killed Jennifer. That's
other point too
the only theory.
If you're dumping a body, you've got to put it in the vehicle.
Yes.
There's that blood. The head doesn't fucking keep holding blood when there's 4 bullet holes in it.
There's going to be something.
Holy
shit. Unless he field dressed him like a fucking deer or something.
Unless he drip dried him in the yard and then took him over.
Hung him from the oak tree. Yeah, no, this is ridiculous.
Boy.
He appeals, as you would imagine. The application here he claims ineffective assistance of counsel at the trial and the appellate levels, prosecutorial misconduct, newly discovered evidence, and insufficient evidence, which I think is the big one here.
That's the one that matters.
Yeah, that's the thing. And they said during this, they found out that much of the evidence that the defense counsel relied on was the state's investigation. They didn't do anything on their own. They just used discovery on whatever the state found and tried to use that as their defense. Whereas the state's not looking for exculpatory things for you. Right. That's the thing. They don't want to find exculpatory things. They don't want it because that means that they'd have to look at that. Otherwise, they're, prosecutorial misconduct. Right. So they don't want exculpatory things. They're looking for guilty things. So you have to do your own investigation. Yeah. Discovery's great. You might find something, but otherwise you can't just depend on them.
You can't just take somebody as a piece of shit and just be like, this piece of shit's probably a murderer too.
That's the thing. Also, they introduce evidence that there's a guy named Michael Mallory of Iowa Falls who's bragged to several people that he's the one who committed the murders.
Oh, boy.
There's another bragger here. However, the defense counsel never went to Iowa Falls to conduct an investigation or follow up on this evidence at all.
We don't need to. We got the guy that throws his wife through windows.
Didn't even make a phone. That's his not the prosecutor, his defense counsel.
They knew about it?
Because the prosecutor knew about it. They released it in discovery. The defense counsel found out about it, which you would see that and go, I'm calling that fucking number right now.
Up there.
Here's my shit. Didn't even make a phone call.
Wow.
Just went, well, that's fucking, that's far.
Wow.
I don't want to go all the way to Iowa Falls. It's like 60 miles. I can't go all the way down there.
Oh, boy.
Shit's far in Iowa.
I thought that was how far the investigation went. You should go that far, too.
Well, not him. The police go 60 miles. He doesn't. Also, the defense counsel never conducted an independent investigation to determine whether there's any validity or substance to the Todd Barron's he killed people in California story, because you could look into that and find out if people were murdered around that time, blah, 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 blah. And, that's something you could at least look into. They also found that his counsel provided ineffective representation based on failure to conduct independent investigation, lack of independent investigation onto the Mallory thing, the guy in Iowa Falls, failure to object to the prosecutor's cross-examination of his wife as well. This is what they all find. They also find defense counsel could have objected on a hearsay basis, and such objection would have been meritorious to all of the he told me he killed people shit before. Also, they said that the state was entitled at that juncture to present evidence in rebuttal of the implication defense counsel was attempting to make in the cross-examination of Todd Barron's that Oehringer was bragging. Instead, they played it up.
Yeah.
Like, he was bragging, right? Yeah. Tell us about Betty was saying, how many other people did he kill?
Right.
That was the defense strategy.
Yeah.
Smart.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So they said that the defense counsel didn't conduct an investigation into the California murders and did not have any information on them to cross-examine anybody with, because they didn't do an investigation. They didn't know shit. The California murder story involved a man and a woman shot to death over cocaine. Yeah. So this is you're laying out an exact prior scenario. You have to refute that if you're the defense. You can't just go, he bragged about it, didn't he? Yeah, that's right. That's not an okay strategy because you're too lazy to look into something because California's far. Bullshit. Get your head out of your fucking ass and stop giving lawyers a bad name. fuck me. So, yeah, this is ridiculous here. They said, even if relevant and material, the probative value of such evidence would be substantially outweighed by the danger of unfair prejudice. He should have been objecting to this shit. He should have been doing his own investigation. At the post-conviction hearing, defense counsel indicated the decision to further cross-examine Behrens on the murder in California, saying he did brag, right? That was part of his strategy. He went in and told a group of other people, a panel of legal people, that was my strategy. Right. How someone didn't throw a gavel at him, I have no idea. They should have stripped him of his fucking license to practice law immediately on the spot and pantsed him at the same time.
Like that murderer on Mindhunter when he's like, yeah, that was my strategy.
Yeah, that was my strategy.
I told him, don't go looking into the stationery.
Yeah, obviously.
Everybody gets it.
Yeah, see? Duh.
Then they don't have to look.
Yeah. That's what's going on here. This is the dumbest fucking shit ever.
Wow.
It's so stupid and ridiculous. So, yeah, they say that this, for him to do any of that would have fallen under the normal range of professional competency, they said. Basically, bare minimum.
Yeah.
Bare fucking minimum you could have done, and you didn't do it. Defense counsel also has a duty to make reasonable investigations or make a reasonable decision that makes particular investigations unnecessary. You can't just say, I don't feel like it. You have to say, I didn't do it because this, and that.
Right.
Period.
Because I had a strategy.
Yeah. Also, the choice to cross-examine and elicit testimony about the California thing was made when no independent investigation had been. It had been rebutted. It's ridiculous. Also, following that, two different inferences could be made from that. They're saying you could say. Basically, you could either say that what he said he did in California, what Sam said he did in California was probably true,
right,
or that he's just a bragger and he has no basis in reality for anything.
Right.
I think if you're a jury and you got him sitting there, you go, I'm not taking any chances.
No.
You know, that's what people are going to do. Also, the district court here says that this case is a close one, but Barron's testimony on cross-examination creates two types of prejudice. It allows, we explained it obviously here. The failure to investigate's a big deal. And there's another one too he failed to investigate. In April 1985, Lori Engelson, haven't heard of her yet, right?
Never.
That's because they didn't investigate her.
Why?
She was interviewed by the prosecution, by the Criminal Investigations Unit, but not our Department of Criminal Investigations. She reported that she overheard a Mary Jo Payne say that she knew who killed the people in Forest City. Mary Jo Payne then would testified that following Oehriger's arrest, she saw Mike Mallory and Ken Schwebke playing pool at a bar located in Iowa Falls. She heard Schwebke accuse Mallory of the murders at that point. This is another person with this Mike Mallory. It's another thing. According to Mary Jo Payne, Schwebke said, quote, he thought it was pretty funny to have a white boy take the rap for what he did and get away with it scot-free.
Oh.
So that's how that goes. And when Mary Jo Payne asked Mallory whether this was true, Mallory said, what's it to you? So, I don't know, murder.
I'd like to know.
Yeah, also Billy Payne, Mary Jo's brother, testified that on February 9th, 1985, Mallory looked anxious and nervous, Mallory had told Billy Payne that Mallory was going to Forest City, quote, to take care of business. And that Billy Payne also says that Mallory had told him several days later that Mallory had, quote, wasted these people up in Forest City.
But why?
Why what?
Why would he go? Why would he do that?
Because he works for these drug dealers.
Oh, he's their guy.
He's possibly their guy.
Okay.
Well, he works for them. I don't know if he killed them. I'm not going to accuse a person on a podcast of murder who I have no idea about, but alleged.
That's the story.
So the defense counsel here says that they're saying that they did a complete shit job. Also, the evidence that Oehriger smashed his wife's head through a window, there was no objection to that at all, and the defense had called no witnesses to testify to Oehriger's traits of peacefulness. So once they opened that up to the character, they could then bring people in to go, he's a nice guy, and they didn't do that. They have one person who's his wife saying, hey, put my head through a fucking window, and a bunch of people saying, he says he shoots people. That's all they have for this guy. And his mom going, he was with me,
and
which
I saw
nobody
some
believes.
Circle lights.
Yeah, and I saw some circle lights. That's what I mean. So, this is fucking crazy, though. And prior to the trial, the defense counsel knew about it from discovery and failed to file a motion to exclude it, and then even failed to object to it.
So what happened?
In court. So, also, one other thing here. Newly discovered evidence involves the Greeks' connection to a guy named Joel Smitherman and the connection between Smitherman to a guy named Richard Tassler, whose murdered body was found on Smitherman's farm in the spring of 1990. Okay, this is later. This will come up. At the post-conviction relief, evidence is introduced to show at the time of the murder, the Greeks lived with a Kathy Rainbarger. It was from Kathy's home that Zois called the Johnson residence on February 9th, 1985, and he said he believed he talked to a guy named Bubba. Phone records show a number of calls were made from the Rainberger residence to Smitherman at the time approximate to the Johnson murders.
Weird.
They're saying there was a lot of phone calls going on.
A little bit of chatter
going on. Yeah, like on the wire. This is a very wire, like a wire Iowa edition.
Sure.
Oehringer says at the time of the trial also there's no indication of the magnitude of the relationship between the Smitherman and the Greeks, because you know why? His lawyer didn't fucking look into it. Nobody did. This is getting fucking crazy. So here's what ends up happening. Based on the ineffective assistance of counsel Oehringer received, we are convinced Oehringer did not receive a fair trial. Jennifer Johnson murder conviction overturned.
Yeah.
Rob's is still there.
Oh, no.
Because they have evidence of that, but they have zero on Jennifer, right. And they even have evidence more pointing to other people, even more than him. So that murder conviction's overturned. Now, 1992, he appeals again, and he's got even more evidence now. At this point, it's affirmed again, but there's a strong dissension now. The dissension, this justice says, I do not find that gunpowder residue is on the passenger side of the defendant's car to be probative of any material fact connecting the defendant to the crime. They said, I was wrong here. The state's expert witness testified the residue could remain on upholstery, gunshot residue, for 10 to 15 years.
Wow.
Years on upholstery.
Oh, you better keep your guns out of your cars.
I guarantee you he didn't buy that car new.
No.
This could have been somebody from fucking who knows, or it could have been him shooting people out the window. We don't know. There's no evidence though indicating the victim was shot from a vehicle, so they're saying that's your either in or from. There's no evidence that he was shot in or from a vehicle, and that's your theory of the case. You got to have a better theory than that. It's better to go, we don't know where he was shot. Than to say,
at least if there's a theory, there has to be some evidence that backs up that theory. This one sure doesn't do it.
Yeah, and also the medical examiner said that two back wounds were caused by such close range shots, maybe an inch or two.
Yeah, you can't do that.
You can't do that
from a driver's seat.
That's what I mean. Across the car?
Right.
No, absolutely not. There's also no evidence or blood or tissue there. Also, they don't find the fact that there was cash in the Johnson's house the day of the murder, and then Sam had cash later on to be a connection, because they all had cocaine.
And he had a job.
He had a job, and he also had coke, though. He had a thing of coke. He could have went out and sold it. Instead of giving the money to the Johnsons, he could have kept it for himself and paid bills. Who knows? There's no evidence that Sam's money was in the same amount or denominations as the victim's money. They said the defendant was a drug dealer, and a sum of otherwise unexplained cash would not be unusual.
Right.
Fair enough. Two other factors. They said, one quoted saying, they talked about that he shot Rob Johnson in the head. The victim was found shot in the head. I don't find this fact statistically significant. The number of murder victims killed by shots to the head are many. There is nothing significant about the type of murder that the defendant's statement is significantly corroborated by someone saying he said he shot him in the head. Because that's what most.
It's a pretty good guess.
Good guess, exactly. Also, they said that that is quoted saying that Johnson's body wouldn't be found for some time. It was found lying in a ditch, and it was not found until a month later. He said it's more significant, but not significant enough to corroborate a murder.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. So he says that he would reverse the conviction for also Rob.
Yeah.
But anyway, that goes on. That's affirmed. Okay. He stays in jail for a minute. Then he gets a new attorney, a guy named David Grind.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's going to grind it out.
This guy is like a magistrate now. He's like a big shot now. He's a 6th judicial district magistrate now at this point. He's a judge.
Yeah.
Before this, he was a public defender.
Okay.
And he said he never wanted to be a prosecutor. He said that this case was the case that every criminal lawyer has at one time or another that fuels their passion for right or wrong. This is the case that makes people want to become defense attorneys.
Makes you want to be a lawyer.
Yeah, he said this is when
one way or the other. This thing makes me want to prosecute, too. too, and makes me want to get the right guy.
Something. He said, this is when you get to use the law in the purest form to free the innocent, which is, if you're, an idealistic person. He ends up, he says, quote, I was in Lynn County at the time, and I was contacted about the case, and I found out the man, Sam's parents, took care of my grandparents' yard in Esterville. We had a connection, and this was just a travesty of justice. I took the case pro bono.
Wow.
This guy takes the case pro bono, and he ends up getting the Rob conviction thrown out as well. Yeah. And he gets, and Sam has to plea. Basically, they get him to plea to a lesser crime that has nothing to do with all this shit. Like, we need to save face type of thing. And he's given a sentence of, you, sir, may fuck off. Time served.
Back home.
Time served.
Hell yeah.
He's let go.
Yeah.
And maybe the charges he had to plead to was, while he was in jail, he was charged with forgery.
Okay.
Sam,
making some checks.
We're all like, we don't want Sam to go down for a murder he didn't commit. He's not a good guy, but you don't want him to go down for this. If he kills someone, put him away. But whatever. Forgery in prison which it didn't matter because...
Just convict him for the right thing.
At that point, he was in prison for life, so it didn't really matter. They gave him 2 suspended, blah, blah, blah. And then also, somehow, in prison in 1990, he's charged with receiving and transporting and possessing a firearm by a felon.
Fuck?
In fucking prison.
What are you doing, man?
I don't know. That gets him an extra 5 years tacked on his sentence, which is insane, but doesn't matter because he's released in the early in 93. December 15th, 1994, Sam Oehringer gets married to a woman named Nicole. They end up having 5 children together, including a junior.
I thought you were about to say got murdered.
No. Including a junior.
Of course.
Obviously.
Yeah.
They said he's all into the church and all that shit later criminal. On. August 16th, 2013, Sam dies at home at age 51.
Jesus.
Don't know what happened.
Sorry,
Heart attack or something.
I don't know. Stress of the
stress
shit life
of being in prison. Who the hell knows here? That's the thing.
What a tough life, man.
Really tough life. So he is now dead. He moved to Colorado. He was living in Loveland, Colorado for a long time, for the last few years with his wife and kids. Yeah, I mean, he moved there from Esterville. I think he just had to get out of the area.
Fuck yeah.
I'd want to get the fuck out of there too.
Bye.
Moving out of here to somewhere with hills.
Anywhere else.
Yeah,
anywhere. I don't care. I'll go to Indiana.
Anywhere that's not flat and they haven't convicted me of murder.
Right.
One of those, any of these two. Colorado's both sold. Done. So Bradley Rob Johnson here. He is buried at the Oakland Cemetery in Forest City in Winnebago County, and Jennifer's buried right next to him. They share a tombstone together. Sad as fuck, man. No one else has ever been tried or convicted of their murder.
God damn you.
Like it never happened.
What?
Like it never fucking happened.
Awful,
right?
A naked teenager
stabbed in her own bed in a rural farmhouse in the middle of the country.
And we got nothing.
Got nothing.
Oh,
what are you
my
going to do?
God.
We had something, and
I'm scared to death of Mallory. I'll tell you that right now.
Oh yeah, that's who knows,
that
man.
man's horrifying.
The Greeks and Mallory. There's so much here that could be said. But
I'm never eating baklava again.
Please don't.
I'll never wear
stop.
a balaclava.
Well, you're not going to be able to just not wear that, Jimmy. Let's be honest here. Jesus Christ, what's next? What's next? You're not going to wear your wooden clogs from Amsterdam? Is that what you're going to? Come on, you're not going to be able to resist it. So, good Lord, that is Forest City, Iowa. That is one of the most crazy cases. I think we can say that's a top 10 crazy case.
It's pretty wild.
It's interesting and weird. And
we never do unsolved.
No, because this was solved and then unsolved. That's what I mean. This is what happens.
It had closure.
And then it didn't.
Unclosure.
And then unclosure.
Disclosure.
But this is small town shit.
Yeah.
This is what I mean. This is a small town, unprepared.
That's a police force that was so overwhelmed.
Police force, a public defender's office that's completely has no idea what the fuck they were doing. No wherewithal to fix this.
What are we going to do?
It's a mess over there. Absolutely. And if you've gleaned nothing else from that, it is to watch Winnebago Man because you'll love it.
I can't wait.
That's going to be the best. But if you enjoyed that show, I know how you can. I thought of it.
How?
You can tell us by all you have to do. Get on Apple Podcasts, that purple icon. Give us 5 stars. Just say something. Doesn't matter what you say. You have to type something. It's annoying, but this took a long time to put together. It's much easier to just say, these guys made me do this.
James had to get through puckerberries.
At 3 a.m, which is a tough thing when you're stoned. So you're laughing real hard. So, yes, do that.
Yeah.
Give us a review. It really helps. 5 stars would be wonderful. Helps drive you up the charts. We don't know why. Go to shutupandgivememurder.com to get all of your stuff. So much new merchandise on there. All sorts of new items and new designs and everything on there. All sorts of cool stuff. Also, you can get tickets to live shows, which there are no Small Town Murder live shows with tickets available right now. They're all sold out, but we will be announcing a huge slate of shows there very soon. There is a crime and sports live show in Nashville on April 8th that you can get tickets to right now. There's a few left at Zany's. And if you don't listen to Crime and Sports yet, what are you doing?
What's wrong with you?
Get your head out of your ass and we'll listen to Crime.
Lenny Dykstra loves it.
I'm tired of pitching it to you in a minute. You don't have to like sports. Stop being a dick and listen to it. Do you think this is funny?
Yeah.
Did you listen to the show because you think it's funny? Or do you only listen because you like creepy true crime? If you only listen because you like creepy true crime, there's still episodes of Crime and Sports you like. But if you listen to this that you'll like, if you listen to this though because of comedy, Crime and Sports is you're gonna love it. I'm telling you, you're gonna fucking like it and love it. So listen to Crime
Lenny
and Sports
twice, and that man still likes us.
And he likes us and tweets at us, and he doesn't care. So I mean, that's the thing. We can make someone we make fun of for 5 hours over the course of 2 episodes like us somehow. So whatever. Listen to the damn show.
Yeah.
And if you want to find out when that new slate of Small Town Murder live shows is dropping for 2020, you can do that very easily. Get on our social media because that's where we're going to announce it first always. And get on there. It'll really help out. It's at Small Town Murder on Instagram, at Small Town Pod on Facebook, and at Murder Small on Twitter. So follow all those, and as soon as we know, we'll announce it, and then you can get in on those tickets because some of the smaller venues sell out in like a day.
Fast. It's so quick.
We had a bunch of the smaller ones where we were like, oh boy, I think we booked too small of a venue because it sold out in a fucking day.
Pittsburgh was like 11 minutes.
Yeah, it was crazy. Pittsburgh, St. Louis, a bunch of those. Anything that's like under 400 seats sells insanely fast.
Right
so yeah, do that. Get on there. Get ready for the tickets. If you want to be a hero of ours, and I'm telling you guys, we can't overstate what a heroic thing it is to us to donate to our Patreon or our PayPal. If you want to do that and be a goddamn hero and just tell us you like the show. Say, you know what? I like this show. And what do I get? 20 hours a month of entertainment? That's worth $5 or $2 or a buck or 10 cents or whatever the fuck. Who cares? Doesn't matter. It's the fact that you go out of your way to make an effort to do something that you don't have to do just because you enjoy the show. So we appreciate that so much. If you want to be one of our producers, very easy to do that. Just go to patreon.com/crimeandsports or head over to PayPal and use our email address, which is crimeandsports@gmail.com. And you can reach both of those wonderful places right from where, Jimmy?
Shutupandgivememurder.com.
That's right. And speaking of that, you know what I'd like you to do? Shut up and give me names of producers.
Fantastic.
Hit me with them, Jimmy.
This week's executive producers are Carol Feely, who she's so fucking sweet of her. She donated and then went over to Patreon and jumped in there also.
Wow, thank you.
You're a sweetheart. Thank you, Carol. Mikey Giovanni Garcia, Wilnalia Merced. That's her name.
Okay.
I'm never going to get that right. And she donates quite frequently. Thank you so much. Nikki Ritterhoff, she's up in Chicago. Thank you, Nikki. And Tanya Volinek. You guys all have difficult, except for Carol. Everybody's name makes me stumble. And our other producers this week are Thomas Smith, Mike Oxmall, Ann with no last name, Kobe Nykirk, Travis Hall, Alexandra Podoraki, Anthony Canella, Eric Rodriguez, Eric Rodriguez, Lindsay Sullivan, Ashley Vio, Lucas Malik, Michael Bartolomeo, John Lash, he donated twice. Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
Aspen Cloud, Alexander Calder, Kara Barcroft, William Wheat, Justin Anderson, James Martyr, Kelly Raplagoggle, Jesse Strickland, Jesse Hartman, Laura Williams, Tara Miller, Michael Stoll, Josh Brooks, and Mike's donated a bunch of times, and he's coming to the show in Texas. I forget which one. Rebecca Schaefer, Taylor Hahn, Cheyenne, Anthony Cologne, Reagan Shockley, Megan Megan Long, Ray Kuhn, Peyton Meadows, Liz Leslie, Clifton Brown, Ryan Sim, Kayla Peel, Zach Keaton, Gary Howard, Jessica Cat, or Jessie Cat. I think it's Jessica Cat. Yeah, that's the one.
Thank you.
Rebecca Oxford, Joanne Ahern, Jennifer Flores, Brian Keithley, Ryan Persad. Blake Jacobs. Jake Blakebs or Blake Jacobs. It's
one
the same.
Of those two.
Jessica Schaefer. I said that, I think. Heather White, Benjamin Lane, Mark Foster, Naima Shea, Allison Abernathy, Charlene Culvert, Jude Kendall, Angela Pena, Evie Hansen, Cameron Mitchell, James Hawkins. Yes. Taylor Nicole, Justin.
Cameron Mitchell?
Yep.
Like the actor?
I think so.
That's amazing.
Is there a Cameron Mitchell actor?
Yeah, he's like the B-movie king, and he's it's never mind. It's hilarious.
It's not him.
No, I'm sure, well, he's dead, so it's definitely
well,
not
then,
him.
For sure not him.
That's great, though, that they share a name.
Justin Miller, I said that. Elizabeth Dibble, Nat Hulsing, Taylor. We've had a deluge of Nicoles and Taylors.
A lot of those.
Taylor Cadwallader, Mark Gooding, Jocelyn Cooksey, Jordan Bennett. Thank you, Jordan.
Hey,
Teague James, Kay Deek. Yes. No. Peak. Is that a P? K Peak, I think. Ramon Saucedo, Susan Keller, Robin Anderson, Carl Bittner, Kara Joseph, David Carias, Chloe Carlson, Martha with no last name, Jim Crow, not that one, Jacqueline Donaldson, OV Films,
Jesus Christ.
Chris Deolini, I think. I think so. Emily Wilkins, Aaron with no last name, Adam Smart, Sarah Nicole, Kai Sakura, or Key, Mary Faust or Foos. I think it's Faust. I think I was right.
Yeah.
Madison Courtier, Nick G, Rush Rosenberger, I think. Rush Rosen. Militia? No, Melita. I'm so sorry.
Militia?
De Moro, Bonnie Milne, Sharon Hill, Adam Shawisk, Max Mathias, the Gallegos family, Sam Lang, Rebecca Kaiser Rice, Charlotte Galway, Kyrie Campbell, Jacob Scrabba, Alyssa Camacho, Allison Heimer, Brittany Mead, Richard Radcliffe, Kaylin Peaston, Dakota Clever, or Cleaver, Lana Nikitin? Yep. Derek Romer, Molly Miles, Lauren Vargas, Mike DeGrief, the 3GO, what is that? Damn it. The 3GO, the third Archangel? Is that what I wrote? The 360 Archangel. Ian Bourne, Jacqueline M., Ashley Scarlett, Drew Badger, Reed Whaley, Jordan Lee, or Leah, Jeanette Brown, Jessica Huber, and all of our Patreon supporters. You guys make this show possible and make our lives worth living. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, from the bottom of our hearts. We are so excited.
Unbelievable.
Thank you. We're proud and we're humbled, and thank you so much for every goddamn thing you do for us. What if somebody wanted to thank you or humble you? How could they do it?
You can find me at Whisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks, over on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat, and it's really just I think that's the word. It's humbling, and it's really mind-blowing and incredible that you guys give a shit that much about us, to not just send a donation or support the show, but just listening and telling 6 friends or telling 5 friends, and
what they do when they follow us and shit.
It's amazing.
If someone has a crossword to say to us, they come out swinging. Our people are like, oh, hell no. And they come out swinging, people taking their shoes off. It's fucking awesome. So
the things you guys send us in the mail are insane too. Everything that you guys do for us is deeply appreciated. No, it really is. And I assure you, none of it is taken for granted. Where can they find you?
You can find me at Jimmy P is Funny, or just copy and paste my name from the show description and find me that way. It'd be a lot easier than trying to spell it yourself. But with that said, I mean, other than watch Winnebago, man, I think we've covered it this episode.
I'm going to go do that.
You were going to go home right now and do that, and then we got to get on planes and go to Houston. So we'll see everybody in Houston.
Can't wait.
Until next week, everybody. It's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
He was hip-hop's biggest mogul, the man who redefined fame, fortune, and the music industry.
The first male rapper to be honored on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Sean Diddy Combs.
Diddy built an empire and lived a life most people only dream about.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But just as quickly as his empire rose, it came crashing down.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution.
I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I made no excuses. I'm disgusted. I'm so sorry.
Until you're wearing an orange jumpsuit, it's not real. Now it's real.
From his meteoric rise to his shocking fall from grace, from law and crime, this is the rise and fall of Diddy. Listen to the rise and fall of Diddy exclusively with Wondery Plus